G'day, welcome to the Inforunners. 25 minutes late. Wait for Algared to fix his bike, but it's all good. I'm not Algared, that's Algared. He's learning how technical difficulties work. He's very frustrated, but we got there, didn't we, Algared? We got there.
What is frustrating is we had it perfect the last 2 days.
We had it. Well, so what we did, I know you probably can't tell this, but we've actually swapped Algared over camera, right? And for some reason, it decided to hijack his sound and it wouldn't let him work, so we had to plug in a different microphone and then plug the camera back in. We basically had to do what we did yesterday, and we spent an hour and a half doing it yesterday, and he just did it again in 25 minutes, so he did pretty well.
Yeah.
So
we had it working. You know, it was working solid yesterday, and we tested it yesterday, and we actually did the last 2 shows with the setup we had. And
I think the plan is just to keep using this microphone, because I don't know what it is with the other one. Every time he goes to an XLR microphone, after a little bit, it goes to shit. And he wants to use that because he brought a Streamer X, but I think the Streamer X is what's causing the problem, because every time, after a little bit, it just goes haywire. And it was what was happening was I couldn't hear Algared at all, but when I spoke, I could hear my own voice. Yeah. And I was like, what?
And that was with that, and you know, I'd have the mics turned off, and I was hearing that. So.
And I could see him on camera, like full conversation, mouth going, and I'm like, I can't hear anything. That was a bit weird. Anyway, so that's what the last 25 minutes was.
To try and solve it, I had to call him. We had to call. You know, we're on the phone.
Hello, this is emergency tech support. What can I do to help you? Ironically, I answered the call, and then I held the line for 25 minutes while you fixed it. That's what which is the title of this episode.
But anyway. The other thing was, you were saying, have you checked this? And it was saying, yep, checked it, double check it, yep.
Yeah, system elimination, so, that's how you got to do it. So
I'd actually remembered a lot of the steps we'd gone through previously and tried them.
All right.
Just wasn't. Yeah, anyway.
Let's do housekeeping, because I've got away with it. So, all right, fixing chat windows so we can see everyone to start with. So that is done. So now we can see YouTube. Now we can see Twitch and bot time. Should be time for bot. Been up long enough. Start. And the bot's up. Cool. Sweet. All right. All done. Housekeeping done. So get your questions in. It is that time of the year. You guys will be feeling it though now. We've kind of rounding that curve because we're getting a ship showdown. We also did an episode. Piss poor Pete woke me up at 3 AM. I did tell you that, didn't I? Woke me up. It woke me up. It was all
you mentioned fault. It. You mentioned it in the episode.
Yeah.
So.
And he had the balls. I don't know if you can see it there over there. He had the balls to say, "What kind of time is this?" Because we were 5 minutes late. That was 20 minutes ago. But yeah.
Yeah.
So, got the solstice paints for Zeus. Yeah, I got a whole bunch of them. I buy them. That's the secret now. You guys should be doing this. So if a ship comes out and it's got rare paints, just buy them and meld them with credits, and then they're forever in your buyback, and it removes the limitedness. So I think I brought like when I know the ship's gonna be popular, so I knew the Zeus is gonna be popular. I think I brought like 10. So yeah. And that was back before I kind of realized how things work. Again, we're still learning as we go as well. So, and other people will tell me things and remember it in the old noggin. Algared, it's okay. People understand these things happen.
Yeah.
You are only human after all. Like, I think this kind of proves it, right? So it's fine. Don't worry about it.
No, the mechanical heart's dying. That's what it is.
Oh, okay. That's all right. Well,
it's more that type of.
You just pick
the. Will do that to me.
You pick the ugliest uwu girl, and she can do the transplant. Anyway, right.
See what I have to put up with all the time.
Right. Okay, we've got one question so far. This is going to be the quickest stream of all time.
No, because I ripped a few questions out from the videos we did yesterday.
Oh, there was questions. Wait, what? We didn't do a premiere yesterday.
No, but there were questions or comments in chat, but I thought were relevant, so I thought I'd grab them out.
Oh, man, so you're telling me the Nightbot is working when we're not even there? Right.
No, the Nightbot's not working.
No?
The Owlbot is.
Oh, the Owlbot? Right, okay.
The first question from the ISC video was from Michael ID Bruce, and he started off with a comment in he says, I have to admit, I wasn't really planning to go to Pyro. But there are some gameplay things there that are quite exciting. Like repairing, salvaging option and that. And he said, I wouldn't mind seeing those come to Stanton, which I 100% agree. I think they should be coming to Stanton. And if CIG don't put them in Stanton, I'm peeved. Then he started off, he said, with his question, he said, I saw a comment on Spectrum today that described this video as inviting SEALs to go over so you could go SEAL clubbing. Unfortunately, I think he's true, that the impact of what CIG's implementation of these things will do. He says, how much farming do you think you're going to do before someone flies over with an A2 and drops bombs on you? Or how long do you think you're going to be salvaging or repairing things in the scrapyard before some dude who's rightly paranoid gets out his shit and blows it away?
Or just like a barrage of questions? Wow.
So
he's got
comments and he's got that. How long is it going to be before someone basically nukes you, kills you, griefs you, etc.?
Mr. Future, thank you for the basic membership on YouTube. Right.
Yep.
All right. So that was from Michael.
Michael ID Bruce.
Yeah, that was a really long question.
It is.
Okay, so I think it's pretty obvious that things like the hand salvaging are going to come. That's a broad across the game thing. But what it was the missions are probably going to be there first, and then eventually roll out everywhere. So yes, I would say they're probably coming with Pyro, because they did say there's a bunch of new missions or different missions. So, and also if you think about it, salvage is probably going to be more of a necessity than a need in Stanton, if you get what I mean. And I don't say it's not a need. I'm just saying that it's an absolute necessity. There's no dealerships, for example. You know, go ahead.
It's really looking at the facilities and the support that's in Stanton versus the facilities and support in Pyro. And the idea they're trying to get in Pyro is things are not readily available, so you have to salvage to get them. You have to run those repairs to get the things you want to work to function. Do I expect them to be those gameplay elements to be in Stanton? Do I expect there to be farms with stuff laid out so you can actually go harvesting?
Yeah.
Do I expect there to be outposts where you have to do repairs before you to do stuff? 100%. But you are going to need it in. But those things are going to be almost essential in Pyro before you can get them working. I fully agree. I do think that it's a frustration that we see this non-PvP gameplay, these non-combat gameplay being put into a system where that is going to be the norm, and people seeing each other are likely going to be paranoid or freaking out or just bombing you for the sake of it because they can.
Well, I don't think it's completely lawless. I just think the laws are different, and it's not high security. It'll be like medium or low security, and the people that are going to be enforcing that are obviously not going to be like Crusader or Hurston security. They're going to be some form of the gangs. We know there's 3 gangs in there, and we're probably going to be seeing more of that in the next week or two, as Disco alluded to. So,
well, he certainly alluded to how do these 2 gangs that hate each other function and survive with Xenothreat, and we know that Xenothreat is supposedly the dominant force in the system. So are they setting an overarching rule set? And then the gang, is it a bit like the UEE in Stanton sets the overarching rule set, and then each planet has its own unique flavour of rules, like we have at ArcCorp, Hurston. Do the headhunters have their slightly, they're different rules? So I kind of see that. I disagree with Michael's comment, though, at the end where he says there's absolutely no reason for non-combat folk to be heading to Pyro. There's no reason. There's no one's going to stop just because Jared told them to, or because the tech demo, and he knows that that's going to be there. There's a reason for everyone to go to different locations. Just because, but if you go as a non-combat person, don't expect to be avoiding non-combat or being able to do non-combat all the time. But there are reasons to go to places because it's part of a game.
I don't even know how to answer that, because it's really obvious. Like not everyone, even in a pirate gang, not everyone's going to be the combat person. Like you can look at like you can look at almost any movie that's got pirates or anything like that. Not everyone's a combat. You have brains and brawn. It takes both, you know. So, yeah, I don't know how else to answer that. It's really obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say that.
So-
I think that's very how do I put that? It's almost like the way that question was asked is almost like that person has just got it set in their mindset that it's this huge war zone. Like that's it's like they haven't informed themselves on all the little. Well, if you've been into the pirate preview or watched any video of the pirate preview, it's not super combat driven at all. If anything, it was more a different rep grind.
Yeah.
And broken down and dilapidated.
And it seemed to be even more that they were really in the video they were pushing more. If you've got a rep with this gang, you're going to be able to do stuff in this system, whereas you can't do it in the other area. That would almost be like if you've got rep with Hurston, you go to ArtCorp and they say sod off. It would be that type of swinging. So, do I think we could see some more of that type of application being put into Stanton, where the industry, the companies are kind of a bit more, you know, they open up. There's more quests that open up if you for each, you know, if you've got with ArtCorp, you'll get that.
I think you'll find that on like those quests will maybe not the quests, right? Because they're probably not needed, but the gameplay. Absolutely. Like, if you think about what he said, it's literally like you're going around and hand salvaging panels, right? So it's just a low-end salvage mission. That doesn't mean you can't find a panel yourself and salvage it to repair your own ship. That's basic level shit. And the repair thing, that's the same thing as repairing fuses that we saw in the engineering gameplay. We literally saw that. He picked up a fuse and chucked it into a stereo or whatever it was. I don't know what it was. But it was a box on the floor that took 3 fuses. Right, so it's it's just the same gameplay, and we mentioned that when we talked about that yesterday. I know we did.
And the difference was you in the Stanton system. It was in the Stanton system. In that Pyro example, you had to go find those fuses if you didn't have them on you. Yeah. So
really, it's just a disconnect from someone's associated it with the mission, right? And no, it's not it's a mission in Pyro because it's low level stuff, right? But when you take that, it's still going to be gameplay. You can do the mission without doing a mission. That's essentially emergent gameplay on its own, is it not?
Yeah. So, I could see, you know, and I could see there'd be people who, you know, you're at a salvage yard. If you're someone who's at a salvage yard and you constantly are just fixing everything up, I could see there'd be people who would just leave you alone. Because if this person's sitting at the background, they're keeping to themselves, they're just fixing things up, means I don't have to do it. means the other guys don't have to do it.
Well, I've even heard people saying that, like, there was I can't remember who it was, but it was a guy that I know from Australia, and he was talking about a fellow org mate. And this guy had been a combat guy all the time, and like his favorite ship was the Perseus and blah blah blah, and they were doing it with General Desperado. So I'm pretty sure it was one of General Desperado's guys, right? And he was telling me how they jumped in and they had 2. It must have been Sandgroper. They were on 2 the A2s, and they were doing the engineering stuff, and they had 2 groups going, and they said just the basic level engineering, and once one guy kind of like took control of the engineering stuff, and he started like telling people what to do, like he became like the head engineer, and then all of a sudden they just went to the completely different level of the other team and just dominated it, and they did it multiple times. And basically, because they were working as a team, their ship was just out surviving the other ship. And he said, like, that's when Sandgroper said he could start to see the way the teamwork makes the dream work, so to speak. Game. Yeah. Because they were able to extend their life by essentially using the fuses and stuff like that, which is kind of what you and I have said all the way along. Yeah. But we didn't make that up. Like, we're just going by what they're saying, what it was going to happen. And Sandgroper was literally going, it is coming to pass that way. So we're not like some kind of level geniuses. We're just like looking what they say and repeating it to you. So I don't think I'm not going to ever take credit for something like that. That's just them telling us what's going to happen.
They tell us what we're doing, and we look at it and go, and think of the applications we can think of. And it's nice when others are coming back and saying, yeah, that's exactly what you guys are saying based on what they've said. Is exactly what we're experiencing. So, but I thought those comments were valid because they were questions, and I could see where that's coming from, but I also think there was an element where.
And these slackasses aren't doing questions. We've got 4 questions from you slackasses. Come on, get them in.
Jump. I didn't think that. I don't think Pyro's just. While Pyro is dangerous and you don't want to go there if you just want a quiet life, I don't think it's specifically geared just for PvP people. And people who take the you must PvP. You're in this region, therefore you must PvP, you must be a PvP. I don't think that always necessarily is true. And if you're a PvE person and you go there, expect to find some PvP, I suppose, is the other side.
I don't think that's necessary. I think it's more like high security, low security, medium security. You are more likely to find that stuff in different security areas. I don't think it's a Pyro exclusive thing. And just like in Pyro, there will be high security areas. Yeah. Right?
Well,
you're not going to...
We've already been told that. The jump point itself is going to be super high security.
Well, not just the jump point. Even the gangs will have high security areas. So, like the... Like you won't be able to get in onto the station proper if you don't have proper rep with them. You've got to earn rep with them before they'll even let you into the station. So, it's just it's not an area specific thing, and when I say area, I mean like a system. It's just who controls the system. What is it's almost like changing the theme, right? That's essentially what it is. The theme of Pyro is that system is in its death throes because of the pulses of as the star's dying, so to speak, and so therefore. UAE do not want to invest in there because it's dying and it's not, why do all that work? But then by the same token, there's still valuables there. So the pirate gangs have came in and basically they're trying to get the value out of it because there's no UAE, so they can operate in a different, it's just a different theme.
And the lawful people are still there because they're trying to eke out their existence and they've invested, the Ma and Pa's, they invested their credits into their little space station, and they're there because they need to try and make it out and
they
survive.
Were probably there before the gangs even turned up.
Yeah. So time and time again you'll see that. So I think there's gameplay for everyone, but it's. I think that probably the way you put it is probably a better way, but it's that the levels of security will determine the PvP-ness that you'll get. Another question or comment that came out of the discussion was, please test the reclaim. This was a comment. It was, please test the reclaimer in 3.24. Is it still worth it? Having to unload manually and the price of salvage being reduced, is it still worth joining, or is it a useless ship in 3.24?
Probably in 3 times. But like if you look at the reclaimer compared to other ships, there is a lot more complexity when it comes to cargo and that thing, because it's all got to go through the freight elevator. So and you can see it's a massive part of the job of that ship, because you're going to essentially sort it in the back area, you're going to put it on the lift, and then you're going to lower it down and then offload it into the cargo, and then you're going to do it again to take it off the ship. So moving cargo around that thing is a pain in the ass. Let's be honest. It's just a pain in the ass. It is the worst thing about that ship, to be honest with you. But again, how often are you going to be moving that around? That's a lot of cargo that you can fit on one lift. Like that thing's what, 2 or 3 nomads in size. Right,
and I suppose when you've got when you're doing that, if you've got your crew who are, and members of a crew who are your load masters, and they're sitting there as it coming in, sorting it to start with, when you're taking it off, it's going to be easier for you to do. I suppose I could see buying empty 24 or 32 unit containers and then tossing the stuff tossing the 1 unit boxes into those big containers.
Also,
when
the
you're
bigger,
storing it.
well, you've literally said it right there. The bigger the boxes, the less you're gonna have trouble with it. But also, the less room you've got to swing around.
Yeah, and so that thing. That, by the way, was from Citizen P4097. That was a question.
Yeah, it just
from
rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Another question or comment that came through with the IC video. I think it was the IC video. Was I'm curious how boring Nyx will be compared to Pyro. Because it's like less lawful Stanton without the landing zones and just rocky planets.
Well, see, that's a different
And
theme
not a lot of
again.
them.
So that's a unlawful area like Nyx, but it's been made more lawful because the people that control it are basically UEE exeteers. So like if Pyro is considered like negative ground and Stanton is almost like positive or lawful, then you'd have to say Nyx is almost like
Well, Nyx is
the middle ground. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I meant.
It's,
it's like neutral ground.
it's where those who just don't like the political industry or the political framework of the UEE have gone to escape.
Massive asteroid rings, so it's going to be highly industrialized, like especially for mining and stuff like that, and salvage.
And yes, Nyx has Levski on its kind of asteroidy planetoid, but scattered throughout the ring are lots. Like we only really know of Levski, but scattered throughout those rings are supposedly lots and lots of.
And you did bring that up when we watched that episode on asteroid bases. So
it is loaded with Mar and Par settlements and small outposts and small mining companies and people doing this stuff. And it's going to have the abandoned bases because.
And we even we even said that, didn't we? We will be really surprised at CitizenCon if we don't see the next system. We're almost expecting it like that. You know, we've seen Pyro for 6 years now. They can't Pyro's got to the point where we're seeing it so much on ISC. It kind of tells me that they're not going to be showing it at CitizenCon. And if they do, we're just all going to be like eye roll. Like 7 years of that. Come on, like we're done. So it's got to be something new, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be a new system.
I think the only reason if they do Pyro at CitizenCon is to say, and it's live.
Yeah.
Because they're giving us so much about Pyro at the moment.
Well, they've said they want 4.0 before the end of the year, which implies CitizenCon at the latest.
Yeah. So, I just see that's what we're going to be saying. You know, that's the big thing they're going to be saying, especially since I'm starting to think, as much as they planned or wanted Squadron to be the focus, I don't think.
I can't give the cat some treats. I can't just pull them out of my butt from nowhere. I don't have any.
I don't have a cat.
And let's be honest, she doesn't need any more. She's huge. I should have called her Jabba. She's that big.
She's twice the size.
She's twice.
I need a white Persian one.
No, you need a skinless cat like the skinless.
Well,
cat.
I was thinking of a white Persian.
It goes with you. You know, you're hairless, so it should be hairless. You know.
I was just thinking all the evil characters, from Bond or Inspector Gadget.
Yeah.
Always the white Persian cat.
But she's twice the size of her brother. She's now harder to hold. Like I can't hold her one-handed anymore. Like I pick her up and yeah. That's what I meant. Mr. Evil's cat. Yeah, the skinless cat. That's exactly what I meant. Destroy. That's exactly what I meant. Like Dr. Evil.
Well, I was going for the So Dr. Evil picks up the idea from the James Bond villain with the cat and the Inspector Gadget guy with the cat. But on those ones, they were white Persian.
I'll get you next time, Gadget. Yes,
that's right.
Yeah.
I wish I had 25 890 jumps.
I'm just reading another thing in Twitch chat. Wolf Blitzer says, yeah, the Reclaimer needs a rework. Probably will be for gold standard. Yeah, that's why I think they've kind of left a lot of the cargo stuff, because I think they've realized some of the problems with that ship. So kind of going back to the original question on the Reclaimer, it's one of those ships that it was put in game way too early, and so it's always looks like it's got issues. And again, back when they come back around to work on salvage again, well, you can tell straight away it's got its docking collar ports on the top. That's not a thing anymore. We now know that they've got dual docking ports, like on the sides where the people go in. That's more than likely where the docking ports will go, and it'll probably get capital sized docking ports because of its size. Because again, it can't even dock with a station. So that's how early that ship was. Like the problem at the moment is you have to spawn it at a landing zone and then fly up and out every single time. And what happens most of the time with a Reclaimer is people operate them out of Grimhex because there's nowhere else you can operate it in space. So again, that ship is just what do you call it? It's got a lot of tech debt. Yep.
And Billionaire Ninja, thank you for that basic membership on YouTube.
Good to see you, bud. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome to see you. But yeah, I can remember when I'm sure you remember it as well, when they first brought in the docking collars, and there were two ships that you couldn't spawn. You couldn't spawn at stations because the landing zones weren't big enough. You had to have them at the at the space stations, and you could only go to the stations that had docking collars, and that was the 890 jump and the Reclaimer. They were just too big for everything else, and it was frustrating. So it's nice to see that they did change that and make them usable elsewhere. Actually, I think it was you spawned them at Grimhex because they were one to have a big enough place, and then you could only take them to the space stations that had the docking collars.
Well, ironically, I know there's one other ship. I think it's the 890 jump, but you have to have an 890 jump or a Reclaimer at the moment. They're the only people that are getting the extra large hangars. So most people are getting large, but if you own an 890 jump or a Reclaimer, you get an extra large. So I have an extra large because of the Reclaimer.
And hey, Griff.
Yeah, nice
awesome to see you on our YouTube.
Yeah. Should get some of it. If you guys want to jump on, if you're an old time guest like Griffin or Billion and you want to jump in, just message us on text. We say the same thing to Pete. Like if you guys want to get on and just chat, chew the fat, you're more than welcome to get on. Just let us know. Hey, can I come on and jump?
9 times out of 10 we'll say, join us in recording.
Yeah, and jump in the Discord. You should have access to jump straight into the channel. But if you don't, jump into one of the voice channels and shoot us a message.
And we'll drag you up and give you the permissions.
Yeah. We're always up for a chat. So
you know we like talking ship.
Yeah. So I some of the best chats come out impromptu. I remember there was it was me, Piss Poor Pete, and Expat, and we would talk. I think we talked for like close to 4 or 5 hours, and there was some, and I don't like to say some random guy, but he was some random guy, and I don't even remember who it was, right? But he was there with us, right? And he stayed for the entire time, said nothing, and then right at the end, as we're all going, oh, dude, guys, that was the best thing ever. I've been like a fly on the wall the whole time, and blah, blah, blah. So I've got my own private podcast, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you're still here? What? Like... And we all kind of got freaked out that he'd just been sitting there listening while we'd been chewing the fat for like hours. And, it was great.
It was like one of our supporters yesterday. We're sitting here, we're doing the setup and we're talking in our Discord. We just recorded, we've done stuff and we're doing tests. There's someone in the chat.
Yeah, he'd just been sitting there and we didn't even realize.
We've been sitting there for the last half hour, just listening to us do the flight, do the stuff we do behind the scenes and talking the issues and stuff. So I get it. When you sometimes when you hear those conversations, it is. So I get it. Griff's was saying he's just enjoying watching us chew.
Yeah. Well, I do the same when I watch Griff. So yeah, and Fast Cut. So I
just for you, Griff.
Yeah. Chew the fat. It means chew the fat. It means talk.
Yeah, I know. I know what he means. Yeah. I know what he means.
Why do you look like a cow when you chew?
Because I was deliberately overemphasizing and trying to, All right, so Breadbeard 6722 also had a question or a comment. He says, "I'm curious." Oh, that was a very boring. How boring next will be. So we've answered that one. So I'll go through and click these so I know we've done them.
Yep.
Otherwise, I'll keep going back to them. Friends,
Do the crops
50.
vanish with server crash? I would
Which was that?
imagine they would have different states of time.
Yeah.
So that'd be recorded.
Yeah.
Much
so,
like other things in the game that have different states and they're recorded. So depending how recently you'd picked up a crop and how, darling, you can't sit there. That's the mouse. No, you can't. You
in fact,
that's up or
you know,
down. What are you doing?
And if there were some crops that were normally, at the beginning when the server starts, harvestable. If it was a server crash when you came back, both crops would be harvestable again. I think that'd be kind of hard set. Once we get into farming ourselves and we're growing stuff, well, that might be different. But certainly, to start with, I don't think that's going to be an issue. That cat is one concept sail away from being melted.
Yes, very close to it. Like, come on, get down and go. Good girl.
I did like that comment, JD. So yeah, I don't think the crop vanishing with server crash is an issue. I just think it'll just be.
Yeah, it's like what happens with the server crashing at the moment. Like, it depends where you're at when things happen. I think the biggest issue right now would not be crops, right? And I know we're kind of hijacking this question and changing it, but the biggest problem at the moment is the states of missions and contracts. If whatever's in the middle, it just ends, right?
Yeah.
So if you started a mission, it's instantly failed. And the problem, and from a testing perspective, right, is I can't tell you the time. I'm literally unloading the cargo, and if I'd had an extra minute, I would have finished the quest, and that whole mission or quest fails, and then I lose rep. It got so bad on the test server the other day. I actually had to restart my character because I had lost rep with the hauling people, that I couldn't do hauling missions anymore, and I tried to do a box mission to get rep back, and that failed and my rep went down again. I was like, and it wasn't me, it was the server crashing that was causing the problems, and I'm like, why am I being punished for this? So again, if it's crashing so frequently, they need a way to turn the rep stuff off just so you can actually test the missions, because let's be honest, that's what the rep's not a thing that needs to be tested. Well, it's arguably testable, but I would also say if you take that out of it, that's not the problem at the moment. The problem is the cargo missions are having lag issues. The cargo elevators are having issues. The incidence hangars are having issues. It's not. But that was hindering me from testing. And again, I know they want everything working, but sometimes it's kind of like early on in the Avocado where all the values were 1. Because it just removes a lot of those gates so they can test to make sure they're actually working. But
I'm in the same position. I just think it's worrying about things that we need to fix X, Y, and Z before A, B, and C are a big issue. The next one was a discussion from Death Messenger, which was more. There's more non-combat stuff dumped in the middle of a system that will be a griefing, ganking, and PvP fest. And I think it picks up the comments or ideas from that previous comment, or the first comment. But I think I added this one for a discussion topic, because I think it's relevant in terms of how people are perceiving the system, and also to flag it for CIG.
Do you think that's
no one else has done it?
do you think that's a little bit the perception though that CIG have given, like it's this completely lawless place? And I don't think that's correct. I think there is no law, but kind of like in the Wild West, there's still sheriffs or their laws are different. Like so they don't have police, but there's gang justice, so to speak. I don't know how else to put that, right? So if you it's just a different form of law. It's not the police. It's like if you go down to John's place and you smack John in the face, John's going to be pissed and John's going to retaliate. It's just that simple, right? It's not. It's just human justice. I don't know how else to call that. You know what I'm trying to say, though, right?
I suppose the easiest way is to think of like when we go to England,
Yeah.
for CitizenCon. We're no longer under Australian law.
Yeah. That's it.
We have to abide by British law.
Yeah. So Algared, we can't call people names because you can go. Do you know you can go to jail for Twitter posts in the UK? Bananas.
Wow.
Bananas.
Wow.
Bananas.
Okay. So we got to tone
so
down.
We won't be doing any Twitter posting. No social media. Let's just stay off because being Australian, man, would make a joke and would end up in prison. Like they'll put it in the stocks and everything. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, frontier justice. That's exactly what they call it. Yeah, frontier justice. Yep. That is exactly what I was trying to imply. Thank you. That was exactly what I was looking for. So yeah.
Well, and I think Len Fisher's saying that's what CRG even call it. It's a frontier justice area, and it's the areas where it's not that UE doesn't want to have a presence there, because they certainly do, because we know, because they've told us the advocacy are going to be there, but.
It won't be Klesher. It won't be Klesher. It'll be something else.
X is going straight to Klesher.
I've had this nightmare, right? I don't want to call it a nightmare, but I had this dream that I'm going to wake up at UK Customs and I'm just going to be told to go home. I've had it 3 times now, where I've like, because you know how I sleep with the rain music, right? So as I'm waking up, I just had this kind of like slightly lucid dream that I'm at the UK. It's like, yep, turn around, back on the plane.
Yeah, you criminal, back you go.
Well, you do know Badgers works for the customs, right? And the coast customs.
You're screwed.
I'm expecting him to be there going, yeah, back you go, get back on the plane.
Yeah, you too, Al. You're done. No, I know these guys. Send them back.
Yeah, just send them back.
Troublemakers. Yeah.
But yeah, they did also state long time ago that when you eventually go into a system, it'll actually update you with the law changes and tell you how things are different from the last system you're in and stuff like that. Because they are going to have we already said it. Stanton's really interesting though, because Stanton does already have different laws just from planet to planet, and that is not a common thing. It is a Stanton almost exclusive thing, like how they're very kind of lax on drugs in Microtech. And then in Crusader, it's somewhere in the middle ground, but then in Hurston, it's really against it, right? So it's the same thing. What you're seeing there is a microcosm of what you'll see, but more. Well, I'm not going to say system-wide in Pyro. I probably think each gang will have their slightly different set of laws, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think that's generally what we'll see. It's that difference. And we already know you get updated, because the second you go into Stanton and you log on. If you go to your Maybe class, you can actually pull up the laws for the system. A bit like you can pull up the economic data. So I really think that's kind of
I was laughing at what Joe Domo said in chat. Just buy an inflatable and I'll let you in. Land in France and just We
so
could just
Billionaire's
swim
going
it.
to join us for a little bit, I think.
Yeah, okay. I'll drag him in when he pops in. Yeah, he did. Oh, he's messaged me too. So yeah, just drag him in when he drops in one of the voice chats.
Yeah, I just told him. Yeah, come on.
Yeah, come on in. Jump on in.
If we've already told you on live, just come in.
Yeah. Well, no, I did say to message before.
Yeah, you did say let us know.
Yep, I did. It's just.
But yeah, come on and join us, Billionaire.
Yeah.
You're always welcome.
Yep. All right. Next question, bud.
Next question was that's undone. Next question was related to Ship Showdown. This was our last, the last of the questions or ideas I pulled from the 2 videos we did.
Actually, Lemon makes a good point there. And if you think of it like this is the scary thing, right? And I want to put it this way, and I think he's done it really well. I'd rather have the law after me than the cartel. If you think of it like that, I would too, because the gangs are going to be way more vicious than the law will put you in prison. The gangs will just put you to death. You know, like the judge dread you, just bang, you're guilty, bang. So yeah.
Yep.
All right, there he is. Billion, how you doing, man?
I'm checking his level. What stats should he have? Roll. He's an 890 jump VIP. I guess he's cool.
He should be able to talk.
Yeah, you should be able to talk, Ninja.
Hello.
All right, there you are.
And he can.
He can. Good.
Welcome.
How you been, man?
Nice to be around. I'm good. I'm very good, actually.
Good to hear.
How you guys been?
Yeah.
If you can't tell, I'm tired.
Frustrated.
I'm tired, man. I did not sleep well. But yeah, and then just lots of CitizenCon organizing stuff in the background is just.
Yep. And
Yeah, I'm actually doing the same thing. I got a lot of prep work too. Because I will see you both there.
Mhm.
I have my tickets and I got the hotel and everything.
Yep.
I'll probably end up being there on the 17th. So, but yeah, I'm still doing a lot of figuring out what I'm gonna do as far as recording and all of that stuff. So
Yeah, actually, you reminded me of something. But go ahead, Algared. You go first.
I was going to say, yeah, we booked our hotel. Well, would have been the first thing we did, like months before we bought our tickets.
Do you know someone reached out to me this morning? I'll tell you later who it was, and they said, "Oh, by the way, if you want to do Airbnb with us, sorry I haven't got back to you till now. We're good to go now." And I'm like, we booked our shit like 4 months ago."
Yeah, we booked our hotel, and we wanted to lock that in like months ago because we figured that was going to be the hard thing. But and then it was like 2 months later we were buying our airfare tickets and stuff.
Speaking of tickets, this is what I want to talk about. So this is relevant. Today, I believe this is today or tomorrow. Wait, It's Saturday for us, so it will be Friday there. So, hey Google, what's the time UTC?
It's 9:05 p.m. on Friday.
Okay, so you've got
Universal Time.
It's 4 p.m. So if that's 9, that's 3 plus 4 is 7 hours from now, minus 5 minutes. So in 7 hours, shut up, Google. God damn.
The baddest Siri.
That bitch, man. No, just as bad as Siri. But yeah, in 7 hours, there's more tickets going up for sale. So if you know anyone, and there've been people going after this shit for a while, if you want tickets, there are tickets going up. One wave and one wave only. Last chance to get your CitizenCon tickets. So yeah, I just want to bring that up. So if you are a fan, as in, or you have friends, put the word out. They've got 7 hours. They are on the clock, and I'm bringing it up now just because I know there are people out there. I messaged a few people myself. That's your last chance. And not just because me and Al are going, but they said at the start when the tickets went up, this will be this is the one you do not want to miss. So I don't know what that means anymore. Like for the longest time we thought it was Squadron was coming, but hell knows. Who knows now?
I still think it's coming. I still think they're at the very least. I think we're going to get an announcement date.
Yeah, well, my view was, my understanding from everything I'd heard, seen, and read indicated that Squadron was going to be the focus.
Wait, did that say 9 p.m. and I read that wrong? So they've already gone? Oh shit. Okay, don't worry. They've probably already been sold. Maybe check on the site. If
check
one
on
of you,
the site.
Well, if one of you, I've already got my tickets. Algared's already got his ticket. Billion's probably you've already got yours. So someone that doesn't have the tickets would need to check. But yeah, I think they're probably already gone then if that's the case. But yeah.
Yeah,
maybe
they went on sale about an hour and 8 minutes ago.
Why didn't you tell me that earlier?
Well,
I feel like
while you were going to it, I just let you go. I'm like, this is your channel. You go. You say what you want.
No, just let me hang myself. It's fine. I was trying to help. I don't need the tickets. I don't live in UTC. So yeah. Okay, great.
He was just giving you enough.
Yeah.
Just giving you enough.
So you should have known about this yourself. You didn't know tough shit. That's how that turns out. From Billion. Yeah, Billion tells you that, guys. Yeah, not me. Yeah, that's all good now.
Yeah, just enough rope to hang yourself. X. That's all.
That's all good.
I think there should be some left. I don't know that they're selling as fast as they did originally, so they might still have some.
Yeah, that's a good thing then, because I know at least a half a dozen people that reached out and said, "Is there any way I can get a ticket?" So, they're still available. Excellent. All right, so yeah, put the word out. Last come last says I know a bunch of people that sadly, thanks, Lemming. Arthur Vendelay, thank you for the $8 Australian. Appreciate it, mate. But
always great for a coffee.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people out there that didn't even know the tickets went up. I know a guy that I'm talking about Nooblets, by the way. He didn't even know it was on in the UK. And we've done Fix My Fleets with him, so Agro knows what I'm talking about. So hopefully he gets a ticket as well.
Yeah, I'm confirming right now they are on sale. They still have some left.
Yeah. Oh, that's what Lemming did as well. He's our mod. He's over
Yeah,
in
okay.
Twitch. If you can see my screen, he's
Yeah, and X calling a digital lady a B word. Sad. Gasps. Yeah, I do the same to Siri. Siri hates me.
Oh man, look. You can take any word, and it's the tone how you say it. Let's be honest, right? I could have called her a fluffy rubber duck, and it wouldn't have mattered how I said it. If I say it with a bad tone, it's bad. If I say it with a good tone, it's good. It's all in how you say it, because you can go. Oh,
all I know is I don't want any parts of that, because when the machines come for us, I have treated all of my machines with respect.
I, for one, welcome our machine overlords. Like, that was, like, how many shows you've seen that on? Like
exactly. Yes.
Yeah. Siri sending the Terminators after me. Like, she already hates me. You know, I'll say, Siri, call this person. Calling.
That sounds like an Apple
and then
problem.
you say, hey Siri. Yes. Call this person. Calling them.
I didn't find that contact.
Shut up, Siri.
See, it's not just me. Anyway.
But yeah, you know. So yeah, Siri hates me. But yeah. The last comment that I did see from our, which came from a ship showdown video we had, was a comment about the F8C.
Yep.
Picking up the idea that it's limited hull. And so if the F8C wins, will it get a CCU? And I thought that question also really applies to the 890 jump, because it's also a limited hull. So if the 890 jump wins, will it get a CCU?
Even if they don't get a CCU, I think at the very least they need to do a limited sale for the top 5 type of thing.
Yeah.
And I think we'd probably agree that you got to do the math. This is going to be announced at AIE, so they will be available at AIE, more than likely. Especially the 890 jump will be anyway, even if it's only in limited quantities. So yeah.
Yeah.
But man, if you want an 890 jump skin, man, it's going to be hard to get one, because they're all sold out. Tough titties, you know, like. So, yeah, it'll be interesting. Actually, let's have a look at that, because I haven't voted today, so that's something else.
I haven't voted either today.
I did.
Yep. What did you go for, Billion?
So for me, it's all about the skins and getting people skins who don't have a lot of skins. So I went for the STV. Yeah.
You went for the STV?
Yep.
I'm going to be honest. I'm probably going to go for the Ursa, because the Ursa has 3 variants, and it basically carries on to some of the other Ursas. So that happened with some of the skins for like the Pisces and stuff like that. They worked on the other Pisces as well. The STV doesn't have any variants. So, and also the Medevac is technically newer, so it's going to have less skins.
And it's actually got a purpose in game. Because
the Medevac, when it came out, it got 3 skins, right?
Yeah.
When they announced it, I'm pretty sure it came with 3.
But so did the STV.
Oh, it had 3 skins when it came out?
So I don't know about the number, but theoretically, they've got roughly the same. And the STV has also had subscriber flare skins and a whole bunch of things. I would argue there are more skins available for the STV than there are for the MPUV, just based on the on time. Now, I'm gonna vote for this one and see what.
And if you're going for a ship that
not surprised at all, it's 2,000 to 11,000 at all. Wow, like smashed.
And I think if you look at the if you look at the ship that's cheaper, the STV would be the one you go for if you're going for the mean. But if you're looking for a cheap ship or cheap vehicle that's actually got a value and role in game, a Medevac is the one to go for.
Fortunately, in the moment, this is really a glorified grey cat that carries 2 SCU. That's all this really does. And I'm going to be honest, when the UTV drops, I don't know if I'll bring that up, because people, I think a lot of us have forgotten it's been that long. I reckon that's going to be the one to go to out of those. So this is the UTV. And it always reminds me of the little vehicle they had from Jurassic Park 2, where it goes fire tuck, and they're chasing the charging dinosaur. If that's exactly the same thing, as in it carries 2 SCU, but it's like 4x4 instead of a sports version, It'll be way popular because it's almost like the Dragonfly versus the other hover bikes, because it's more of a 4x4, and that's usually where you're going to use a lot of these vehicles in non-roaded terrain will be more popular. So yeah.
So I think the Ursa will go have a chance of going all the way through, because any ship that can fit an Ursa suddenly becomes a med ship. So it becomes a ship you can
Sadly,
use. Sadly,
I don't see it beating the Spirit. I just don't see a vehicle beating a ship. I just
I think I'm with you on that one, X. I think
hard.
Well,
I would like to...
Well, as I said, right, way back on the Discord earlier this year, if they did it this way, it made so many of them predictable. And I'd even put that to Lemming. Did you notice, because Lemming's running the competition for us on the Discord, if you can still hear me, Lemming, have you noticed that they seem to be more similar this year in the way people have picked their things? Because, for example, like I think all of us would have predicted the vehicles being knocked out fairly early. I'd also say the same thing with the racing ships and things like that. There's almost none matching. Okay, I swallowed my words then. So we'll see. But I would have predicted that, like I would have just chopped the vehicles and the racing almost straight away, because we know they're just, those gameplays are just not as popular as other ships, but maybe it's just me. Yeah, so me and Algared did a video on this. So how about you just let us know your thoughts on yours then? So what did you go Spirit or Mercury, Billion?
I went Spirit.
Yep.
The Mercury. I like I said, I mostly do it for skins. I do also take into account. I saw a comment that said like go for the cooler ship. I do take into account how cool the ships are, but if I feel like a ship is kind of underrepresented in like the discussion, and it's kind of, you know, a close call, then I go for the one that has less skins or is underrepresented.
Well, for myself, the only ship I own in the whole thing is the Mercury, but I'm going for the vote this year. As I'm going to try and oh wait, I do own a Reclaimer and Vulture. That's true. No, I do.
Yeah.
But I'm also looking at where that's located. Wait, that's going up against the. Okay, I probably am going to get a skin then. At least one of them. Because I'm pretty sure the race, either Reclaimer or Vulture will beat those two. I'm pretty sure. So that's going to get to there, and that'll get a thing. So
yeah, I have a whole list of who I voted for, who I am going to vote for, versus who I think is going to win. Those are two separate lists.
Well, that's kind of what we did when we did the episode. So we're kind of doing it again with you here real quick. So STV versus, so you went STV. Well, you've lost that.
I went STV, but I think the Ursa Medevac's gonna win.
Yeah. All right, 890 versus 600i.
I'll vote for 890, but I'm not sure which one of those is gonna win. That's one of the ones I'm unsure about.
Origin people are kind of whack, and the fact that this is even in here surprises me. Like I would have put the 400i in here. I did say that in the video because the 600i is now equal for the most skins in the entire game. There are 3 ships, the MSR, the Carrack, and the 600 that now have the most skins. So if this makes it to here, it now has more skins than any other, more best in show skins than any other ship.
And the frustrating thing I find there is the 890 jump certainly has more gameplay value, I think, at the moment than the Explorer. The Explorer, if it stays...
At the moment, sure.
Yeah. If it stays in its current form, though, when scanning comes in, I expect the 600i Explorer to be the better, because it's actually got 2 scanning stations. It's the only ship in game with 2 dedicated scanning stations.
And I'm voting for the 890 jump, and I own a 600i Explorer. So like, and that's what I kind of said on a video I made today. Like, most of the ships I'm voting for I don't own, and they're actually going against ships that I do own. So I'm not even in it to like get a skin for myself. I'm trying to get some of these unrecognized ships some love.
The best part, if you don't own either of them, as I said in the video yesterday, is you can't currently. You know how they released all the ships to buy and all the CCUs. Yeah. You can't get the 890 jump. Yeah, so it is a troll vote, literally. So the 890. From your, like we were saying, there's no 890 jump skin, so I think out of those two, it's more deserving. But also, if it gets all the way up, CIG makes no money off it because they'll be forced to sell it to make money. You know what I mean? So I think that's funny.
Right.
Force them to sell it. I think that's really funny. So I don't reckon they will sell it. I reckon they'll not do it and just take the loss, take the L. But anyway, all right, Terrapin versus Gladiator, because this was a tough one for me and Algared.
Yeah, this was the toughest one out of all of them, just because I really want both of them to win. But my biggest thing is I was just mad that they were put against.
Sorry. So Lemming's saying that the 890 jump was available in waves. Are you serious? I did. Okay, so they actually.
I did see on the chat people were saying that it had been available in the chat of the video where it was just
6
so
or 8 waves for it. Okay, we must have missed it then. Again, being Australian, we didn't see shit. They don't give a shit about.
Yeah, I missed it. I missed it too. I did not know it was for sale. I don't have any interest in buying an 890 jump, but I definitely missed that one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay,
the Terrapin and Gladiator were tough.
That's good that they sold it then, at least. Sorry to interrupt you there, Billion. Yeah, go ahead.
They were tough for me because I want both of them to get a skin. I wanted both of them to make it into the final 4. I was hoping they weren't going to be in the same category, but if I have to choose, I want the Terrapin to win because I like the Terrapin more, but the Gladiator I think deserves the skin more. So I'm gonna go. I voted Terrapin. I'm gonna go for Terrapin. I'm not gonna be upset if either one of these makes it to the final 4 though.
I think whatever one comes through this year and gets a skin, the following year will push the other one. So yeah.
Like I'm with you, Billion. You know, I really like the Gladiator. I think the Gladiator is the cooler ship, but. When we were first looking at the ship to support, you know, we were going MPUV Tractor versus Gladiator, and afterwards we thought of the Terrapin. We both went, you know, it was Terrapin.
Yeah. So we'd already made that video that CIG put up on their Twitter and stuff like that,
and then changed our mind.
And we totally changed our mind because we had to record it like. I think it was almost like a month and a half in advance, wasn't it, Algared, that we had to do that? So, like, that's a long time. And, so we changed our mind. And I literally went onto the Twitter post, like, after they posted and said, we really changed our mind. So
I think my voting logic is a little weird because, like I said, I do take into account the ship I want to win, but I also look at which ships deserve a skin, so...
I think the only other thing I'd add to that we kind of throw in there, and I think Algared kind of talked to that, is the popularity of the ships too. Like we recognise that the Terrapin would be more popular than the Gladiator, so to speak. But it is very rapidly coming down to there are very few ships that have skins. And they're the ones we push as well.
And I'm hoping for a Mark II Gladiator too. So I mean I'm in the camp of hoping that we get a Mark II. That out of all the ships I think that deserve a Mark II, I think Gladiator would be great.
You don't want to hope for Mark IIs. You just want to hope for reworks and
upgrades.
Reworks. You don't want to hope for Mark IIs because that means you've got to pay more money.
That's true. Rework over Mark II. Yes.
Yeah. All right, Fury LX versus M50. I think you'll probably be with Algared and me on this one. This is a pretty obvious choice of those two.
M50.
Yep, absolutely.
M50 all the way.
Yep.
I do think the Fury is more popular though.
Yeah, I agreed. I think the Fury will win it because, again, most people vote with ships that they own and more people will own the Fury. But again, I'll be voting M50 because it doesn't have a skin. That's simple. Yeah.
Or as many skins are. I think it does have a couple, like it's got the Storm Shadow skin.
Maybe you're right. Let's have a look.
Yeah, I think it has like that Stormbringer and there's like
the
two
real
paints
basic,
that like
the blue and the snow one. Yeah, okay, yeah, that everything has. Yeah, okay. Let's have a look.
But it does. I don't think it's got as many.
Yeah,
right.
It's probably only got those two, and that's it. Let's have a look. M50. I haven't even turned my light on my keyboard yet. There you go, just the two. Yeah, and they are the two default skins you see on everything that has a skin. So yeah.
Polar, that's the other one. Yeah, I was trying to think of that. Yeah, Stormbringer and Polar.
Yeah.
I don't even count those anymore. I'm just like, it doesn't have any skins.
Like again, if I type in, just to give an example, can I actually type in the skin name? Yeah, there you go. That's how many things have that skin. Almost everything has that skin. And then what was the other one? Storm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same thing again. So it's just they're like the default skins pretty much. So yeah, that doesn't count in my book. Anyway, so again, it needs some more. Right, we're getting to the last couple. Reclaimer versus Vulture.
This one was also difficult. I went with the Vulture. I think more people have the Vulture. I own both, so I don't. I win either way. But yeah, I went with the Vulture just because I think more people own it. But I do like the Reclaimer slightly more just because I think overall it's going to have the better use case down the road.
I went the Reclaimer, or I will go the Reclaimer because again, the only skins it has are from a subscriber flare. It does not have a purchasable skin, and it did have one best in show skin.
Yeah, and it's got that horrible.
I think you might be incorrect.
Skin.
What's that?
But
it's got the Dullavine skin.
Yes, that was a subscriber flare skin.
Oh, you mean you did say subscriber flare?
Yeah, so there's no purchasable skin for the Reclaimer.
Got you. Okay, I get what you're saying.
Right.
Unless you go into subscriber store, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, yes, technically speaking, I get what you mean. You've got to buy a subscription, then you can buy it. Yes, you are technically correct. It is purchasable, but it's gated.
Yeah. It's not those ones that are freely available.
Right, we're all on the
and the Vulture has a ton of skins.
Yeah.
So it was hard to even pick the Vulture, but you might have a point. I might have to switch it up on that one. But I think the Vulture is going to win anyway, though. I just think
it's cheap. Yeah. Generally, when ship's cheaper, they win because more people own them. It's that simple.
Yeah.
But again, if you're going head versus heart, and we're here for the community, that's why we always try and drive this. We try to, because it's such a popularity contest, we try to go, hey, let's share the love around. And I know you're doing the same thing. I can tell by the way you're talking about giving other ship skins. It's the exact same thing. Next one, Sulian versus Defender.
Defender here. I like the Sulian design. It's actually that design attached to the Raylan. Like I love that Sulian and Raylan design. It's the only alien ship that I look at and I'm like, I would buy that just because the way it looks. But the Raylan, I do own a Raylan, so I kind of feel like I'm a little impartial with this. I do like the Sulian, but I think the Defender just I need the Defender to get.
Well, Algared knows what I'm going to say, so I'm going to let him speak for me.
Yeah. My question we've got for you: how do you feel about the alien ships that have these really nice exterior skins, like the stonework or the copper on their Defender? When they get a skin, all of that disappears. And so for us, we're going, what's the point? The skin that CIG makes is likely going to obliterate any of the textures and stuff that the basic skins have got.
Oh, you're saying like if the skin doesn't appreciate the texture? Oh, absolutely not. If it's not going to appreciate the texture, I don't want the skin at all. But that's for any ship, but especially the Defender because it has that unique. Yeah.
To get what I don't even know if I can bring them up here because they don't normally have them in stock. So yeah, they don't. If you look at any of the alien skins that come out during like Alien Week, like all the other Banu Defender skins, or the holographic ones and stuff like that, they look shit. Like every alien ship. I think the only exception I can talk about would be the Santaki Eye, would be the only one. Is literally the default skins are the best because all the others just remove all this detail. And even the ones there, you can.
That's what makes the Defender beautiful to me is that texture,
all that texture,
that
and
gold on it. I mean, I like the base skin for it to be completed. I love that base skin, but I would love to see some better skins. But I think I know just during Alien Week they released a bunch of cool skins, and I don't know if those had the texture or did those lose the texture as well.
Platinum. So apparently Platinum keeps the texture. I will have to go have a look at that one. But again, I agree with you, right, that it does keep the texture on the Defender. But here's the thing. Why would you want silver when you can have gold? Again, the default is still better. And I will tell you this. Like, I am trying to collect the best skin for every ship in the game. That's just my thing, right? I don't have any skins for the alien ships. The only ones I have are ones like, say, for example, I picked up a Sulian, are the ones that came with it. Like I got the, I think the only one I've kept was the concierge one for the Sulian because that actually looks better than the default because it was essentially the default, but it added gold lines woven into the cracks and stuff like that, which was really cool. It kept that aesthetic. It just made it different colors. And I think I got the white one with it, but I don't like the white one. But that came with the ship when I brought it.
And look, Rick Sky Knight is right on in YouTube, and other comments, the idea of best is subjective.
In my opinion, my favorite is what I mean when I say the best.
Certainly in terms of what we're talking about, in terms of the way most of the skins on those alien ships work, you lose that finish on the ship. You lose the Sulian's rock work and the wave of veins of a rock is shown. And you might prefer the black skin with the gold to the red, but those original skins still show that texture and that. Yeah. But the other
and that might be temporary. They might end up updating those and like making it to where the texture shows.
Yeah, Credo332 on Twitch says sounds like a personal preference issue. That might be if we're talking about different skins. What we're talking about is the detail, and that's something I can't show you without like going into the game and opening it and stuff like that. But if you know what I'm talking about, that they have all those alien ships have this really cool alien looking texture, and we're not talking about the color, we're talking about the essentially almost like the panel lines and stuff like that. Like if you get really close up on the Defender, it's got all these little, it's like a Ming vase, it's got all these intricate circles, and you know, it's really highly detailed, and you get the stone texture on the Saurian as example. When you put another skin on them, one of the alien skins, the stone texture is gone, the Ming vase look is gone, and it just becomes plain Jane, and they lose that alien vibe. And we're only talking alien ships. We're not talking any of the others because the others just don't have that level of texture. And
again, as I said, it's not talking the skins themselves. It's talking about the fact that they lose that greebling, they lose that texturing, that look.
Yeah, that's why we're not talking color.
And that's generally why we're not talking color. And that's why when the comment about the platinum skin for the Defender kept that kind of patterning, we'll have to double check that.
So so this is the one I'm probably the most not interested in, long story short, and I think the Saulian's going to take it because they sold a lot of Saulians. They sold a lot, and the Defender being an alien fighter is kind of expensive at $220, and so I just don't. Yeah, I just don't see it even competing.
Like you said, the cheaper ships normally win. Yeah. And I mean, if I feel like most of the skins they do for the Cillian, they're going to end up doing for the Raylan. So I feel like if the Cillian wins, I might get a Raylan skin too. So I'm okay with the Cillian winning that, but I don't think either one of them is beating the next category.
Yeah, and that's it. That's the other reason why I don't think this matters, because I don't think it's going to get a skin based on whichever one wins this.
Yeah,
as I said to Algared, I think whoever wins this is probably going to win the whole thing. So who and I mean that literally, because
I have a slight difference, but maybe I'm more.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think the F8C will win. I want the F7C to win. So I'll vote for the F7C, but I think the F8C is going to win just because of how many people I hear talking about that.
We will agree with you on that. And Algared will tell you why.
And if you look at the vote that was, where people were putting up their votes in the citizen section, the number of panels that had the F7-8 or the F8C, sorry, F7-8.
To translate from old man,
F8C,
he doesn't mean community. He means community hub.
Yeah,
instead of citizen section. The only section you believe in is the senior citizen section. That's where you belong.
Now, Execute. You start picking on Al. He's the quality guy. Thank you, old man. I appreciate that.
He's now talking to himself. He's going Sentinel. Official. Someone clip that, please, because we need this proof. Insurance reasons, all of the above.
But so. But you look at that community hub section in the vote, and probably 50% of them were F8, the F8. Yeah. So if you're going by that, you'd say the F8's going to take it.
Did you see that, Billion, at all? Like because you had to put up art and stuff for the vote, right? You know that, right?
Yeah.
And
I actually made 10 commercials for this thing.
Not obsessed at all.
Yeah. For me, it was like I never enter these contests, so I was like. Let me make some commercials. And then I was like, I need some YouTube shorts because I don't make those either. So I was like, I'll just make these for my YouTube shorts. But I actually didn't. When I put all my commercials in, I actually went and checked to see like what the artwork was for each one. And it was a lot of C1s. I think I've seen a lot of Terrapins and I've seen a lot of F7Cs, but mostly F8Cs. Most of what I saw was F8C. Like it seemed like it was everywhere. But I think, and I'm hoping, maybe I don't know if this is hope or if it's like I don't know what it is, but I did see a lot of Terrapin, so I'm hoping the Terrapin and the F8C go against each other in the final, and I'm hoping the Terrapin takes it out and it scores the underdog victory.
Although,
how busy are you this afternoon, Algared?
Sorry?
How busy are you this afternoon?
Oh, I'm going to be pretty busy, I think.
I was going to say, if you put on your best suit, we'll record an 890 jump pitch video from you for tomorrow. I wasn't sure. I'm Crazy Al. Please back the 890 jump.
I went more for humor in mine. I think I just was just trying to make him funny. I didn't really.
Yeah, I'll write it for you.
I put some effort into it.
If he's doing Crazy Al trying to sell the 890 jump, he's going for the humor idea.
Yeah, and I'll put like art in the background and stuff like that. I'll make you look mint. Don't worry. Honest.
But yeah, like I think if you want the meme vote,
Honest executes used ships, presented by Crazy Al.
Yeah, if you want a meme vote, my preference for a meme vote would be the Ursa and the and probably the Fury, because they're the two cheapest, or among the two cheapest.
I don't think I don't think the Ursa is a meme vote though, because it's more functional than the STV.
If you're really going for a meme vote, you go the STV and the Fury.
Yeah, I think
I can't go for an STV over an Ursa, and I own the STV. I don't own the Ursa yet.
I'd say the STV and 890 are the meme votes for me, because I feel like if those win, I think there'll be outrage on. But they're both separate ends of the spectrum. Like if the 890 jump wins, there's going to be a bunch of people who don't own that are like more that don't spend as much money on the game, are going to probably be uprising. But then if the STV wins, then you're going to have the other side of the spectrum being like, oh, what the heck? Like this is the same time. The same thing as when the MPV win.
Yeah, I'd agree on that too, because the STV doesn't do anything, and then people can't get access to the 890 jump. I think they're both the troll votes or the meme votes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I but given that we've already seen that it'd take a hell of a lot of moving to get the STV over the line now, because it's trailing by so much.
My prediction was that the Medevac would win that, though.
Yeah, and I think the Medevac wins just because it's usable, and it turns any ship that can fit it into a midship.
Yeah, it's my favorite vehicle in the game, so I'm not mad at that at all.
So Spirit comes up to here. You'd have the Terrapin versus whatever this is. This is probably going to be the biggest fight, right? Because I think the Terrapin's going to come up here, but the 600, whatever is here, the crazy origin people are going to come out of the woodwork, and I think that's where the Terrapin loses, because we've seen how crazy origin people are, right? And this will be like the only time, and not enough people turn up early in the vote, right? Most of the voting. Most casual people turn up here, right? So I actually think I think whoever wins this is going to beat the Terrapin and the Gladiator. Sadly, I think that's what's going to happen.
And if you look at the 890 jump compared to a Terrapin, I think if you're looking at exploration, a Terrapin beats it hands down.
Yep.
The current 600i Explorer, I think, is probably on par with the Terrapin. It's a bigger ship.
I got to be honest. I find it kind of disgusting that this is exploring, and the two ships in it are technically luxury. I think that's technically just disgusting. And the Terrapin is considered the underdog, but it's also an explorer. I think that's kind of disgusting. I think that was just a way to shoehorn another Origin ship in here.
But they don't need to shoehorn another Origin ship in there. We've got the M50, we've got that. So there's...
You know what I mean, though, right?
Yeah, I know. I think it was a way to.
Well, they made these categories, not us, right? We just put ships up, so they've gone. Oh, well, we can put the Terrapin here, and that allows us to put another Explorer in. That's why they've done that.
I think part of that is so they can they can put both the 890 and 600 in and get rid of one of them straight away.
Come on, Griff, come and give us the Origin crazy eye. Yeah, do it. Come
on, Griff.
Do it.
Come on in, Griff. Griff.
Yeah. Get in here. Come on, give it to me.
Doesn't the Terrapin count as doesn't it list itself as a Pathfinder?
It is. That's why I'm saying it's so funny.
Oh yeah, okay. So because that's why I wanted the Terrapin to be in that category. I would have actually preferred the Terrapin versus 890 jump. Yeah, because I feel like that would have been a better.
Because the Terrapin would have won hands down.
Yeah.
I think the Terrapin versus 600i would have been a better matchup.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, the thing that's scary is the 600i, because it's won so many times before. I think it'll win it again, and that's what that annoys me because it does. The whole argument for years was it didn't have enough skins, right? It now is equal to the 2 other leaders in skins.
Yeah,
it doesn't need another one, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't want the 600i to win, and I am a 600i fan. Like that is one of my favorite ships in the game. Well, post rework, it'll be. Right now, it's in the wings.
And again, if that comes down to a Terrapin Gladiator or 890 jump. I don't have any horse in that race, but I'm going to be honest with you. I would almost go 890 jump because of the troll, because it makes more work for them, because they've got to do that whole ship. And again, whatever ship, it'll also make more money for CIG because there are a lot of the people that buy those ships have money to spend. So if they bring out 1 skin, you'd probably see in rapid successions at least another 2 skins coming for everything. Whatever it is, Terrapin Gladiator, 890 jump. So
I think that's a harsh comment to make, certainly on the 600i, and it's useless at the moment because the gameplay is not there for the scanning. But
what was the harsh comment I said, or did Billion say it?
Well, in terms of them being useless and not having purpose and picking up comments from...
When did I say that?
I'm picking up comments from you as well as the chat, and I'm kind of melding them together.
Don't put words in my mouth. I never said they were useless. I never said that.
Let me finish.
I could say you're useless, but I would say the ship's useless.
But when you look at the 600i Explorer at present, it's got those 2. It's actually got 2 inbuilt permanent scanner positions.
Yeah.
No other ship has that. The ships that have that second scanning position are the ships with the utility mounts.
Yeah, but it's still only got 1 scanner. Scanning positions versus scanners are very 2 different things. The Terrapin's got 2 scanners, and I only need 1 seat to do it.
Well, no, but Terrapin's got 3 scanners because it's got 2 utility mounts.
Yeah, but I'm smart, Algared. I can press 3 different buttons at once.
Yeah.
I've got 10 fingers. I don't need 2 steps. And
I
monkey
would
presses
say
the button.
We don't know what they're going to put into as a system for those 2 players, right?
Yeah.
We also don't know whether that's going to be a thing when they do the fabled rework of the 600i. We've seen the rework for...
You and I talked about this. How much... Let's be honest. What was that rework for? In all honesty, and I'll put this to you too, Billion, right? I put it to Algared yesterday. It was to sell more 600i's. They've now made a promise, but they haven't delivered. They're like, oh, we want to do a rework. We haven't done a rework. When are they going to do the rework? That's in game. That is low effort tier, not required bullshit. That won't be done for years. You know it, and I know it. And I'm sorry but people are like, hang on. Like, you get these people like, oh, it'll be there in 6 months. Piss off. Look at how many reworks they did for the Banu Merchantman, and that thing's still not here. They've had 3 now. Well, 3 and just concepts when I talk about.
I agree.
I shouldn't say reworks. I should say re-concepts, just to clarify. Go ahead, Algared.
I agree. The 600i was... It feels like the promise will rework. I dulled the masses that were screaming blue murder because the 600i was woeful. So the promise will work and showing some work on it, lulls us into that false sense of security. But it also, that promise rework and the stuff we've seen does make it a popular ship in the market when it's on sale. How many people do you see? Oh, I've got it for the rework.
All the time. Yeah. And again, don't buy the ship, pick up a CCU.
Right.
So I fully get it. But what we've really seen for the rework, really, with the bar in it, don't expect the 600i Explorer to have the bar. That's for the touring model.
Yes.
We don't really know what's in the Explorer model. We know it's got extra cargo space. We know I think it's got the med bed. I don't know if that goes into the touring model. We still don't know what the 600i is going to be like when it's reworked.
So
I can actually talk about that because they did release the maps. Hi.
Go, Lemming.
So they did actually release the planned floor plans for that, and it does lose the bar, but there isn't a med bed or in the touring edition.
There isn't, or is?
There is not.
Yep. So the med bed is for the
Explorer.
the Explorer.
Yeah.
Makes sense if you think about it. Carrick adjacent, needs it because it's going out and about. Yep, makes sense.
Yep.
I have an exit plan for my 600i in case this rework just never arrives or if it's trash when it comes out, which is because I would just get a Liberator or something like that. But I do think they're going to deliver on it. I actually don't care when, because I have other ships that can, do something similar or close enough to what it does. But I think that is what sold me. So you literally have somebody right here where the rework is the only reason why I have a 600i, because the way it is currently, I think it's okay. I wouldn't say it's terrible or useless, but I would not purchase that ship as is. But with the rework coming, I was like, that's going to be my main, ship that I use, like my main large ship that I use. That's the ship I'm going to go out in the most because of that additional medbed, because they might be adding some cargo, because it's getting, elevators to replace some of the stairs and stuff like that. It's just going to be an overall better ship, I think, at the end. But even still, as someone who hopes the 600i is doing well, I still don't want it to win that win against the 890 jump because of what you said, X, about the too many skins.
I think the rework though, right? If you look, you stand back, right, and look at it objectively, any ship that gets a drastically announced rework like that is almost like an admittance that they know it's underperforming or it's not good enough for its price. Right? Why would they bring it? Think about it. There's no other ship that I can think of where they've come out and announced a really drastic rework. Probably the only other exception I can think of is the Cutlass Algared, right? But that's much older, back when a lot of the metric stuff wasn't known. This is the only one that kind of needed that kind of update, and I think it was kind of reflected when they kind of did the 400i, and you look back at 600 and go, what the it definitely needs it. And I also think other ships around it, like you cannot not look at the Carrick sitting just above it, having twice as many features. And I would still actively say to people, if you're going to spend, $475 or $435, it's not that much of a jump, considering you're also getting a Rover and a Pisces in that price, right? To actually look at the Carrick. And I think you and I worked it out, was like $50 difference once you minus. I'd have to go back and do the math again, but it was about that, wasn't it? Once
you took out the Rover price and the
because it was it's like $115 or something for the Rover and or $110 for the Rover and the Pisces. But you get my point, right? You can deduct those from the $600 and it brings it way down, where it drops into the $500 range. So it's only like $120 more. And when you start to look at that, you go, well, I'm getting more than $120
now,
worth
I
of
will
features.
say this though. Does the 600i come with the G12? Because then you'd also have to.
It does now.
I know. 600i Explorer comes with a G12.
Yeah, and that's why it costs more.
So I'm just saying, I'm only saying that. Yeah. So when you do that calculation, you do have to include that.
Exactly.
But I 100% would say to anybody who doesn't have a Carrick, go for the Carrick instead of the 600i. But I'm more of a fan of the Odyssey in that way. But the reason I have a 600i is because I have an Odyssey. So I was looking for a smaller Explorer that did something a little different. Whereas I don't think I need a Carrick and an Odyssey, but a 600i and an Odyssey I could justify.
To be fair to the 600i, you do have to, like, luxury is not for everyone, but I can hear Griffin screaming at me in his voice in the background saying that there are things about the 600i, if you're into that luxury thing, that does have value as well. And and the Origin ships are safer, and what I mean by that is they're over-engineered, they're glorified flying safe rooms, so you will be very safe in an Origin ship.
I think to pick up what you're saying, I think the Origin ships their components won't break down as much.
Yeah.
If they start to break down, you know you've really put it through
the ringer.
If you're maintaining them, they will last a lot longer than, say, a Drake ship in terms of components burning out. But the other thing to remember with Origin ships is the I in the name, in lore, indicates variance. And so the 600i, if we're being true, should follow the same pattern as a 300i. So there should be a 315p. That's basically what the Explorer is. The Explorer version should be the 615p.
And people keep telling me
a 625a. There should be.
Algared, people keep telling me there's no 400i variants. Oh yeah, We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
But, you know, but that
I 100% agree, Algared.
In the law, that's what the I in their shipping thing is. It stands for the factor of variance, and the I, you know, the 300i is the base variant, and then you've got your 315p, your 325a. Same idea is real. You're really seeing that with the modularity with the 600i.
If you were to guess, and I'll put this to all three of you, what would be a 600 variant? Where do you see them going? And again, you've got to keep it in the purview of what we already know of Origin, right? What one do you reckon they're most likely to go into? So
given the
let Lemming go first.
Yeah, Lemming, go Lemming.
So a couple of things. So the reason that they said that the 600 got a rework is because the modularity, as it is right now, is not possible. Like, there's no breakpoints. There's no nothing to be able to remove that modular in the middle of the ship. So that's one of the reasons why they said that they needed to redo it. Yep. I may be wrong, but I thought the lore of the eye on the 600 was improved, because the 600 is a very old ship and used to be a cargo ship.
It did used to be a cargo ship.
So that's what I thought the eye meant.
And ironically, if they were ever going to variant, that's the variant I was going to talk about. I reckon they'll get a what is it? It'll be a 635C.
Yep.
So I think that more modulars coming out for the 600 are more likely, and I also think that there's a reasonable chance that the 600 will lose its eye and just become the 600 when it gets the retaliator treatment.
And I could certainly see that as well, because when they originally had the 600 in the old completionist pack, you had a 600 touring model and you had the modular. You had the Explorer module. You didn't get both ships.
So couldn't you ascend? Correct me if I'm wrong here, boys. Right. So we've got a touring variant and an exploring variant. Couldn't you technically make one the 600 and then one like the 615p?
So that if you were going by variants, that's effectively what you've got. So you've got. If you're looking at the other variants, you've got a 635C, a 625A, and a 650R. There'd be the other three variants to go in. But if you go with what Lemming's picking up, with the idea of making it a modular ship, you just have a 600, no eye, no other number, and you buy the module that goes in.
And that all comes down to how they want to do it. And I'm thinking, like, if you're doing a rework and you want to make more money, you go into the modules, because then they can sell 4 separate variants, make some more money.
Yeah. Yeah, they can go both ways.
It goes both ways, because realistic, we've seen it. They make it modular for them because it's easier to make, and then it just comes down to how they want to do it. I think for the person buying the ship, it's much better to be a module. We don't have to argue that. We all know that's how it should be. But again, it's also got gameplay connotations as well. And again, let's be honest, Origin are money sinkhole ships. Now, do they want to up the sinkhole, or do they want to give you a sinkhole that's versatile? And let's be honest, look at all the other Origin ships. None of them are modular. Not a single one, other than the 600i. I think they're going to make them variants. Because, again, they've already got the exploring one and the touring, and they say they're modular, but they're technically sold separately. I think you've got to look at what we've already got and go to the other side. It's an outlier. It's the one that would, if you're going to cut the fat, so to speak, that's where the fat gets cut.
I think that makes sense. The 600i is one of those ships where, because of the way they're building it out now, it makes sense they can make like 5 or 6 variants. And I think that makes sense to put up against the Carrack, because you have the Carrack with its modularity and then the 600i with its modularity, and then you could say this ship versus this ship, which choice do you want to make? They're similar sizes, they can do similar things, and then that gives like a customer choice.
Ricky Skyknight in YouTube chat brings up an interesting point. 600i, the only one, what does the J stand for in 890 jump?
The juice.
Luxury. The juice. La juice. Yeah, because 690J would make sense too. Like I could see that as the touring one. 690, like a 690J. But yeah, okay.
Yeah. Lemming, you were going to say something. When Billionaire, both you and Billionaire started at the same time. What were you going to say?
I don't remember.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
I just thought
about that.
No, it happens. I just thought I'd give you the opportunity to.
All right, let's take a question, Algared, because we have
our first question.
We have not. We're up to the first questions. We're past the actual thing.
That's how we build our question time.
Yeah. We get to.
Okay, so Red Samurai.
Okay, now everyone in Twitch at the same time went. J stands for jump. Yeah, thank you, geniuses. Yes, I meant like, what does it imply, right? Because like P goes into the Pathfinder and the exploring stuff. What does J go into? Is it just it means that it jumps, it travels, it's a traveler, aka it's an explorer? So isn't it another version of the P? So that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think the J fits. Is my whole point. Unless J stands for genius. Genius starts with a G, dickhead. Anyway.
Well,
not a genius who wrote that one.
It was obviously a Tavaran designer, and that's why,
Yeah. So my point being is like it's a little bit out of where it should be. Like it should be like it technically should be an 815p or whatever you want to call it. You know, if touring is 890, by that same definition, explain the 300i, because that's touring. A 400i, that's touring. The 600i, that's touring. Isn't that what the 890 jump is? So therefore, what does the J connotation stand for? And the only thing I can think of is it's got something to do with the living quarters or the extra thing. What are the things it has the other ships don't have, right? It's got the restaurant and the atrium. That's it, really, isn't it?
Yeah, restaurant, atrium, boardroom.
Yeah. So unless it's J stands for everything, like it's an all-inclusive thing, right? It includes everything. So it's like all the variants mashed together. That's the only other thing I can think of.
There you go. Rick Starlight says the J stands for it can jump between systems without a jump point.
That's the best one I've heard so far. The J stands for jacuzzi. That's it, because it does have the pool thing in it. Yeah. Jacuzzi.
Well, they use the BMW concepts, right? And like BMW has like they have the 1, 2, 3 series, then they have the X series, then they have like the I series and all that. So it could be that once you get up higher.
Did you see what Elon was doing with those, by the way, for Tesla? So you had the S series.
Oh, yes.
Then he did the E series, and he wanted to do the X series, but they wouldn't let him.
No, he did the X. It was the E that he couldn't do, and he had to do a 3.
Yeah, it was Ford or something like that. Yeah, he was literally trying to spell out sex as a series, and he couldn't do the E. Yeah, I can't remember what it was, but yeah, that's pretty funny.
Yeah. So I feel like maybe that J is like, because, if they're building it after this BMW ideas, is they're just like, we can do whatever we want once we get to the highest numbers.
Yeah, I agree with Griffin there. He says J is short for jump works. Yeah, I'll give you that. And I think that's what the 890, the J probably means it's all encompassing. It's all variants in one, because it's got the battle bridge, so it's definitely got combat down.
Yeah.
It's got
it can do all of it.
The touring, the exploration, technically, I guess it's got its capital component is the engines, so that implies that it's got a bit of the racing in there. So I can see it. It's J stands for everything.
Yep.
Jump works.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. In YouTube chat, Chris picks up, I'll mention this because it picks up the point I made about the 600i in the modules, and he said, I had my doubts about 600i being modular. But if you look at the Legatus pack, you get 1 Retaliator and modules, and you get 2 600i, the Explorer and the Touring. That's right. But in the original Completionist pack, you got 1 600i and the modular and the Explorer module. And I can remember asking about it, and they said that's because you've got the module. But when you went into game, you actually had both ships, but in your actual hangar, you only had the one. But that has changed with the Legatus pack. So, anyway, our first question. Red Samurai, do you think everything needed for taxi missions are ready to be implemented into the game?
Say it again.
Do you think everything needed for taxi missions is already in-game? Apart from the NPCs being able to board your ship? Yeah, probably.
I think I can answer this. No, because they're not in. Because they're not in game.
There you go.
Otherwise, there would be in game.
Yeah, I think the NPCs aren't working, so no.
I think they're in another form of way. They're already in the game. Isn't that a beacon?
Yeah.
I want someone to transport me from A to B, and I pay them with my beacon.
Yep. So
yes, AI based, no. Right, and that's a player, like, again, I think they'll come when the AI stuff comes, because honestly, the first version of those that we'll probably see is when you walk into the like Telsa spaceport or any of the spaceports, you see the domestic and you see interplanetary. So when the Genesis Starliner comes, the E1 comes, that'll probably be the test bed where you can walk in, go into the interplanetary and catch an AI flown ship from Hurston to Crusader or whatever.
Yeah.
That'll be the first taxi mission you see. So I think that's inherently into the E1. So again, that's the E1 question. You'll only see the E1 when you see that AI stuff come.
And I think when that comes in, that's where ships like the Phoenix will also come into their own, and 890 Jump will start to come into their own, and any of those touring ships will start to blossom when those types of missions come in. I am going to go back to what we're talking about, because Griffin said the J is just short for Jump Works.
He said that. I literally said that. You don't listen to a goddamn thing I say.
Yeah, I'm busy looking at the questions.
Sure.
Trying to plan ahead.
To that question, though,
I did want to stress, I did want to,
Yeah, you're stressing how old you are. We're all here.
Yeah.
I think part of the reason we don't have that, but like you said, the AI, but also what are players going to do? If you're going to pick me up and take me somewhere, I would want something to do. Maybe like the little TVs that are in some of these ships.
Yep.
They were talking about. I saw a post talking about champagne and stuff, like being able to serve people drinks and stuff like that, and actually being able to treat them like they're passengers rather than just what some players are okay just sitting there doing nothing. But giving it the gameplay to actually interact with your passengers, even if they are human, like, I think that being missing is part of the reason we don't have it as well.
They've talked about that for years, though, like things that you can do while warping, and let's be honest, that is a very cart for the horse problem. There is so much, like, look at the level of gameplay we need before you even get to that. That is something to keep you occupied. And Algared and I've talked about this, like, if you're on a cargo ship, you'd be doing inventory, you'd be getting ready for the next station, knowing what boxes you've got to take off and what order and stuff like that. And I'm just giving you one example, right? And you can carry this on to almost any profession. There'd be things you are getting ready for what you're about to do, not just simply, I'm on an MSR and I want to play the chess on the table like they did on the Millennium Falcon. But that will be a thing as well. If you are, maybe you're not the logistics guy, maybe you're whatever, and so you are having some R&R, right? But again, there's so much other gameplay to come first.
Yeah, look, I could see part of the things you'll be doing is going through and checking your fuses, checking that, my systems aren't in the orange yet, but if I check my fuses and my fuse is almost gone, then I fuse and it's going to be a longer time before it goes into the orange. So, so lots of things like that. Yes, functional pool tables would be nice. A pool table for the 890 jump, or even a replacement for a pool table for instead of a piano for the Phoenix would be nice. A pool table in the 600, if it's not there, would be nice, but make them function.
I'm just going to show some stuff here, because Just the Riot's been linking me some stuff in the background. So I'm just going to open these, because I think I need to swallow my words here a bit, Algared. So, what me and Algared were talking about was these Ming vase looking things. So see all this detail along the line here? And he's saying that they're on here, but when I had them up on my ships, they were not there. This is the default. I'm pretty sure that's the default.
It looks like the platinum, isn't it?
Unless it's the platinum. But they weren't. That was on the platinum, but it wasn't on the It was never on this one. It was never on that one for me. So the fact that they are, he's saying that it was always that way. That I would disagree with, because I remember seeing them without it. And I remember showing them to you, Algared. I remember. I bet you I could go back and look at videos that you and I did reviews of skins, because that's where it came up, didn't it? When I'd pull up the skin at the end of an episode or something, and
I can remember saying, "I really like that skin. It'll look good," and you pulled up and said, "No, but I don't like it because it the pattern's gone." And you looked at it and I think the lines may have been there, but they didn't stand out because it was just all one texture. It was just.
And I can't even remember exactly which Cerulean one it was, but we did the same. That's where I remember you talking about it with the Cerulean as well. So I know it's definitely a thing on the Cerulean.
I know with the Cerulean, I can remember.
Yeah.
The thing I really liked about the Cerulean was the rock work, and they put the skin on, and you lost. Yeah. You lost that texture of the rock work, and it was just why.
But again, I like to admit when we're wrong. And always in search of the truth. So, in regards to at least these ones anyway. It seems to still have those details. But
so Destroy says the ship texture doesn't change. That I coded into the ship design.
Wait, you work at CIG? Who are you?
Don't know. Destroy.
Okay. Well, good to know. I'll take you on your word. I think it's a play on destroy. Yeah. Anyway, but long story short, the ones that we put up, and the thing I said to Riot when I was talking to him in the background was maybe that was on PT or Evo then, but there were ones that we put up where they definitely lost their
They definitely lost that texture.
This one especially, I remember not having the Ming vase look down the side. Do you remember the one that had the not the one with the triangles, but the greeny red one? Do you know the one I'm talking about? I can't even remember the name of it now. But you know the greeny red one? This is the blue pink one.
It starts with an O. I know exactly which one you're talking
Oscillator
about.
Or something like that. That's the one I remember removing it. And it was the same one, one of the ones that went on for the Saurian as well. So yeah. So again, I don't own those skins because deliberately I don't like them, so I can't open them and show you. But yeah, I just hope whatever skin they do, if an alien, let's be honest, I think we've kind of concluded there's no alien ship that's going to get there at the moment, but they need to do a little bit extra work on the alien skins. So anyway, back to the questions. Oh, unless you got something to say.
Okay,
wait, Billion had something to say. I think he had something to say.
I was gonna say if you actually go to the page where they list the skin, on the the Star Citizen Tools website, they have a picture of it. I think that doesn't have the texture. So yeah.
Citizen Tools and just Defender.
Yeah, I think it was.
Which one? Which was it?
If you go all the way down.
Which?
Yeah.
Which one? Wiki, the top one. The top one.
If you go down, it has all the skins. And I think if you go to it shows that didn't have the texture.
It's got the detail as well.
No, was it that one or was it the other one?
I think it was
that
this
you were talking about?
I don't know. Well, let's go through them all. Let's go through them all.
Yeah.
Make me a big fat liar. Make me a big fat liar.
I think even if the lines are ingrained on the ship, I think you lose so much of it. To me,
you lose more of it because of the color choice.
Too much of it. The color choice deadens it. Like the blue one, where the
blue one is really evident. Yeah.
So
that would be much better.
Yes, you can see them there, but
that might be it too. Is you lose so much of the detail that it doesn't even matter that you have the skin because the detail is what makes it great anyway. So
So why have a detail if you can't tell the details there because the color's wiping it? Is kind of, I think, the point.
Yeah.
Anyway, Citizen Joel, what do you think the PTU versus Squadron 42 development priorities will be after Squadron 42 release, knowing episode 2 and 3 are planned? They'll go on to making episode 2 and 3.
That's what they said. As Algared likes to call him, the Viking, Brian Chambers. We should just call him Brian the Viking Chambers from now on. He basically stated they'll move straight on to episode 2, but more people are going to keep working on Star Citizen. The plan was always build out the team, make Squadron, which is kind of what they've done, and then continue building the team and roll those and some other people over and start making Star Citizen.
And you think about it, it's you build the game, you've got the underground guild grid work for everything else, and as the finish the game, you start exporting the tech across from the game into the PU. And you saw them even talking about that on IFC this week, where they were saying, oh, this is something we could do in Squadron, and we'll now bring, the energy transfer for repair. And now we're bringing it across into the PU. So,
no, it's kind of a given.
Any comments to add on that, Billion, before we move on, or Lemming?
I'll just say Brian Chambers is awesome. He worked on the UFC and WWE games. I don't know if anybody's into those, but I like those. He also worked on the Enter the Matrix game from a long time ago. So
it's really obvious why Algared is jealous of his hair. That's just
Yep. I'll just point out, God only made so many perfect heads, and the rest he put hair on.
Yeah, a cone head is not perfect. I've seen the movie. Anyway, right. Next one.
Okay, Jim Bethett says, when are we getting magnetic epoxy grenades for bounty hunting?
God, man, they talked about grenades way. Like, I'm thinking back to PAX, man. We're talking 10 years ago.
2014.
Yeah. They're all still a part of the plan. All we can ever go on is those older documents until they're updated, and that's what me and Algared keep saying. People go, "Oh, they've changed." No, they haven't changed until they tell us any different.
My question on the magnetic epoxy grenades, is that your version of a sticky bomb?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So yeah.
When did grenades even come in? They weren't even in the original game, right? Like they came in like 2.5 or 2.6 or something like that.
No, but they had a whole bunch of different ones like years ago. I wonder if I can actually bring it.
Even at PAX, they were talking about EMP type grenades, grenades of flashbang.
Right.
Here we go, Algared. I found a very old image. I don't.
And that was from and that was 2014.
Okay.
So this is. Yeah, so that shows you just 5 different grenades or 6 different grenades right there. And this is a concept, but there is another image somewhere where they went through and they actually modeled them all, because essentially it's the same. Well, you can see obviously from the concept, it's the same grenade, the texture just changes. And so once they'd modeled it, here we go. This might be here. There we go. They showed it around the verse. That's how old that is. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
So they're all done. The only one we have in game is the actual grenade. We don't actually have any of the others yet. But again, they talked about the itinerary on the fire episode.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we know that they're definitely still a thing.
And
they might have changed it to a sticky mine as well, because in other games, from what I've seen, it's normally a sticky mine, not necessarily a sticky grenade. But
why can't you have?
You can have both. But yeah.
I can't. I honestly, why can't you take all those? Maybe not the scanning one, because the scanning one, you'd change it to like an alert trip mine, not a scanning one, because it, like, when it finds something, it just turns itself on. But all the others, you could see those as mines, So EMP goes off, it takes out a droid or your electronic, what do you call it, a Titan suit.
The radar scatter screws up the map.
And maybe not the cluster mine, the cluster one. You don't need that. It'll just be an explosive one. So yeah, but yeah.
Well, isn't a cluster one just a frag grenade? Really?
So it essentially does a small detonation and it spreads out over a wider area, but does less damage. So that's technically what a cluster grenade is in real life. So you're going for coverage or greater distance, rather than Anyway.
All right. Jodimo has a question. Do you think we will be given the option to have larger landing zones on planets as our home spawn location, or do you think they will just be space stations?
Well, they've talked about player-built cities, so eventually you'd be able to build a hangar like base building. I think we're going to probably see a lot more about base building at CitizenCon, unless you guys think I'm whack. But they talked about working on base building this year, last year's CitizenCon. I think that's what we'll see. I don't think we'll get it in game this year, but I think they'll be showing that off. Go, Lemming.
I think they actually said that.
Yep.
Is that there's a planned segment on base building.
Yep. Well, that schedule will be out before we get there, won't it, Lemming? So we'll know for sure before we get. Well, we can at least ascertain. Yeah, at least ascertain. What about you, Billing? Billing? Sorry, I said call you Billing. Billing.
Billings.
Yeah, it's like Billing.
That's what my daughter calls me because I just pay the bills anyway.
Billings.
But yeah, I think the base building is what I'm looking forward to. I'm really looking forward to it because I have a Pioneer and I am ready to use it. But I think that the base building is coming. I think that's why they're focusing a lot on this salvage and repair and stuff because I think they're prepping to be able to, feed that into like whatever we're gonna get with base building. But I guess my question that I would pose back to you all is I think the primary person that worked on that left CIG. Now, I don't think that necessarily means the work stopped, but that might have slowed down the work. So what do you all think about, because Todd Pappy, I believe that was his baby, right? So I'm not certain if that slowed it down or not, but I would pose that to you. What do you think?
So he presented it, but like almost all work's done in a team. So even if you lost the leader of the team, you'd still have other people that he went through the motions with that would know the broad strokes. So, yeah. I think
I'm only saying because sometimes people like the leader pushes it. Like maybe that's not a priority for like other people. And so maybe because he's not pushing it as much, maybe it doesn't get as much attention, even though people still are working on it.
It'll still move forward. It may have taken a little longer to get started. Some things probably got to reorganized at the start of the year. It probably didn't go as far as it would have done without him, but they still would have worked on it.
Yeah,
but that was their intent. They were showing their intention. Like, remember what they said. Everything we've shown here today, we're trying to get it done in the next 12 months. That's what they're trying to do. And the only thing we haven't seen all year, realistically, has been the base building stuff. Right? That's. I think that's going to be a big part of what we're seeing. Go ahead, Lynn.
So there was a caveat to that. It was, they said everything up until this point, and then the base building came after that. So the base building was not planned for this year.
Mm-hmm.
But
I don't remember them saying that, but okay, I could be wrong.
Yeah, but even if I did, it's still everything I think we've been seeing indicates it's going to be something to talk about.
Yeah, I remember it as saying everything we've shown today, but again, I'd have to go back and to look. So Lemming could be absolutely correct. I just would have to go.
I mean, I could be wrong too because I'm going off memory. So
yeah. Well, as always,
it was over a year ago now. So
I'm not going to tell someone they're wrong when I don't know myself.
Yeah.
So,
If anybody wants to know about Todd Pappy, though, he landed on his feet. He's at Lightspeed Studios, and they're making a really cool game called Last Sentinel. So he's doing good.
What type of game is it?
It's like an open world action game. I'm not 100% sure what it'll be. I don't think there's a lot of details on it, but from what I've seen, it looked really cool.
There's a trailer on,
and it'll pick up some of the concepts and ideas from Star Citizen. And
no, it's actually like a grounded game. It's more like Blade Runner. From what I saw, it's like if you mix Blade Runner with Akira.
We can't play it.
I was thinking really more of things like
hang on. So I've linked a trailer in both Twitch and YouTube on Last Sentinel. If you would like to go watch it whenever you want, go watch it. But obviously I can't bring it up on stream for copyright reasons.
Yeah.
I was thinking more things like large maps and those types of elements.
Oh yeah, that stuff might be
those types of things working their way into the game rather than the game it's being same as.
I actually think I've seen this. I think I've seen this trailer, believe it or not. I'm gonna turn the volume off and watch it myself, but I'm pretty sure this is the one with the female samurai. Yeah, it is. Yeah,
it's really cool looking.
Yeah, that trailer is awesome. I have seen it. That will be cool. And if Todd Pappy's involved, I have no doubt it'll be cool. So yeah, good on him. Yeah, he basically
just looks like a outpost.
You can't blame Todd Pappy. He'd been there for what 9+
19 years.
His family and wife, his kids, are in the United States. He's on the other side of the world in Manchester. Squadron was done. I can't blame him for wanting to go home. I'd want to go home, and if they don't want him to work from home, compromises have to be made, and he had to go. They wouldn't go, no, stuff you can't leave. They'd be like, go. You've gone above and beyond.
Yeah,
go
yeah.
home, spend some time with your family. We don't want you to go, but you have to.
We
go.
get it.
Yeah,
I respect it. Yeah, I would think it was a.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, it's
amicable.
just one of those things you've got to do. It's amicable. And I got the impression he was one of the people who was a friend of Chris from a while ago. I could be wrong, but I know there's a few who'd come in with Chris who'd been old, people who'd worked with him a long time in the past.
I think he came over from Crytek, because I know he came in 2015. He was like my favorite person at CIG. That's why I know so much about him. So I'm not stalking. I'm not stalking him, I promise. But I just remember him. I think he worked at Crytek in Germany, and he came over in 2015 to CIG. But I don't know if they worked together before that. I know he started back in the Atari days. Yeah. Well, he worked for Atari, not started in the Atari days. But yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, I know he did a lot of the, if I remember right, did a lot of the first-person shooter type games, if I remember correctly. So things like Theaters of War was his baby, because that was the type of thing he was into.
Yep.
It was his bread and butter in the past, and I think that's what makes Squadron good. I think it's the type of things we see working their way into Arena Commander. So. But yeah. Anyway.
Right, we better get into these questions because we've got. Oh no, we've got time. We've got about an hour to go.
Monster Avy has a question. How long after we get land farming do you think we'll get a ship for it?
Yeah, that's a tough one.
How long's a bit of string?
Yeah, I do think you'll see like a medium or large ship that's under the Endeavour that'll do what the Endeavour do, but only that,
and. Is it going to be hydroponics? Is it going to be... I think one of the big things is once we get the land farming, what type of land farming do we get? And do we get, the hydroponics ones or the drug farming in the rooms? I think that's one we'll see moved across. We certainly see that at the Rayari sites at the moment, but we don't, in Hurston, we don't see the actual farms themselves. And so seeing the farms planted in the crops planted in rows that you can harvest, that's something we haven't seen in so far. And having the rooms with the crops growing that you can harvest, that's something we haven't seen yet. And so I think that's a step forward. But
I would love to see an Argo medium ship for farming or something like that. So I'm hoping that's what comes in with it.
Excuse me, Mal noises. I'm just apparently there's the newsletter is out and there's a sneak peek. So I'm just opening it now. You've earned your stripes. That's what the title is of this one. You've earned your stripes, and those ding noises are my email. Let's have a look at this one. Okay, that is unlike anything we've seen before.
That looks misky to me. Like the metal looks misc-like to me.
Like Mirai?
Misc or Mirai, yep.
I don't think
is that a tail fin, or is it a wing, or is it a...
Well, it moves, obviously, so it's some kind of steering fin. Lemming, you going to say?
It's definitely misky. It could be Mirai.
Remember, they give us enough to hang ourselves every single time.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
it's misty, it's misty.
Yeah, my thought is Fat Fury.
Yeah. Yeah, that would make a lot of sense. That sounds right to me. I'm trying to think, maybe Drake?
No, it's not Drake. It's too
shiny.
Too shiny?
Too shiny. Yeah. It's not. The steel's the only shiny one they've got, and that's disgusting.
Yeah. True.
And even the fin itself has curves on it, which also imply misc.
Yeah, misc makes sense to me.
And Drake tend to be more angular.
And notice all if you look across the body, look at all the panel lines. That's also misc Mirai.
Yeah, just looking at the body skin itself, I'd probably go misc, because it reminds me of the Freelancer styling.
Again, I don't think it's misc, because you got to remember it's split into 2 brands now. It's more statistically way more likely to be Mirai.
I still see them both as the same. It's the same. It's just different branding, but same company.
It is the same, but again, and I think
there'll be similarities.
It actually helps you work things out because they're 2 manufacturers. It's actually really helpful that they're 2 manufacturers, believe it or not. It lets you narrow it down quite considerably, because anytime anything comes out and it's remotely combat and looks MISC, you know it's Mirai, you know, and it's really helpful. Yeah, I think the other one that we looked at last week as well, I'm so much in that. Like I've had discussions with Pissed Off Pete, I had discussions with Jen, Desperado and his people, several different people, just trying to see what other people thought they were, and it's so many people that think it's a Crusader ship, but yeah, maybe it is, you know, maybe it isn't, but I just can't get over the maroon on that, and we know that they changed it to light blue. So yeah, Lemming.
So there was a hint on Spectrum that something Crusader is coming soon.
Yeah, so we showed this last week. I'll show it again, and I didn't know where the source was from at the time, but it's actually backtracked to Hater 115. So it's one of the things he did after he left SC Leaks.
I'm making spitting sounds right now.
Why are you making spitting sounds? Oh, wheels spinning. But again, the way he's hand traced this. So that's believable though. Like I would believe that, as they take the Ares as a really popular ship and then they turn it into a generalist advanced starter. I can so see that. Like it makes sense. It leans into the asymmetric gameplay. Yeah, there's nothing about that I would say not plausible. Algared, I think you would agree with me on that. And Billin, I think you'd be the same. Yeah.
Yeah. What size do we think this is? A 2?
Well,
size 1, 2?
If it's the one from the silhouette video, it's an advanced starter, right?
So,
and the ironically funny thing is, I know I can't point all the way over there, but see where that really crayon written engine is? Yeah. That looks remarkably a lot like what the sneak peek looked like.
It does look remarkably like the sneak peek.
Yeah.
I was looking at that and thinking, that looks like that sneak peek fin and engine cowling.
So if you look at an Ares in-game right now, that sneak peek is pretty much the picture of an Ares from the top.
Hang on. I'm trying to find the one. Weekly update, July. Is this the one? Yes, this is. Here we go. All right, cool. I got the one from last week. And that said, put it all on red. Why did that? Oh, okay. Sorry.
Oh yeah, I can kind of see it with that fin on the left.
Yeah. Just so I'm talking up around here. Yeah. Excuse my magnifying glass, right? Clearly, it's same type area. There are a lot of Crusader vibes in though here. Like Pissball Pete went all over it with me. All I was was saying to him though is you got to be open it to be other things. Just like what Algared was saying. Like he reckons this could be MISC, and I'm kind of dismissing him. He could be completely right? But that's how me and Algared work. You got to bounce things backwards and forwards and see what shakes out.
But that initial impression was literally just based on the way the paneling was shaped.
Yeah,
that was it. There's no other reason, no other rhyme beyond that. It was just the paneling and the patterning just says, it just reminds me of MISC.
Yeah. So to put this back to Wolf Blitzer, right? Wolf Blitzer, there is nothing that says we don't have a racing ship from Crusader. So that becomes like in the weeds extreme speculation. But you also said light fighter. Well, yes, we do have an Ares, so we do have a grounds for a fighter. So I'll give you the light fighter. But realistically, again, and I'm going to open our video because it's the only other one that I know that it's cut into.
With the yellow.
Yep.
And when you look at that one, you can see that yellow, that advanced starter, what we call the advanced starter in that yellow curtain. That could be any ship, any manufacturer. We just assumed RSI because we knew they were working on RSI, but you can see it's a cargo ship because it's got cargo down below it.
There it is. Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. So Algared has done well. Yeah,
Because we talk about it so often.
Yeah, there's little cargo boxes there. So what fighter do you know? I know that's like 4 SCU of cargo, so it's way more likely to be a cargo ship than the only cargo we've seen is on the Reliant Tanner and the Redeemer, and it's 2 SCU.
325A? How much cargo? Well, not much.
That'd probably be 4 as well, so it'd be something equivalent to that. But anyway, Lemming, you were going to say?
Yeah, so we've never seen a Crusader ship with a lift, so that's one ding against it.
Yep.
Generally lifts.
The other thing is, I am utterly convinced that they are stairs there, because if you look at this kind of grey rectangular trapezoid looking thing, you can clearly, we zoomed in on it, it's clearly got zigzags on either side. The only thing that zigzags like that is stairs.
Yeah.
So and the other thing is, when we looked in, you can actually make out a black line. It's very, very faint. And there's a bit of pattern change in there. We believe that's a door frame, because again, wouldn't the stairs, you have you seen on like a private jet, the stairs and the door all fall out of it. Yeah, just like that. So we think it's all contained like that. The other
and if you look at that and go against that, the crayon drawing that Hader did, you can see that fitting into that shape.
Yep. So
I also think ladders too. Like it could be that zigzag shape might be a little ladder coming down as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
so
didn't mean
maybe not,
But again, yeah, they could be 2 separate ships as well. This is the other thing. Like, again, as I keep saying, they always give us just enough rope to hang ourselves.
Yeah, just enough rope.
But I don't know about you guys, but I think they're 2 separate ships.
I do as well.
Yeah, and let's be honest, the only 2 left from this video.
Thanks, Griff.
Griff off, is he?
Yeah, Griff is going.
See you, bud. Enjoy. The only other one left is the Fat Fury. Now, if you work it through, if this is an advanced starter, this one here, all the advanced starters or starters come at AIE. That therefore means by process of elimination, this has to come at CitizenCon. The other thing that you would realize is the Zeus is coming at CitizenCon, so these would release side by side.
Yeah, and you've also got to look at the size. This is a bigger ship than the one previous. Just by, if you look at the video, the size of the little man that's hiding behind Execute's head.
Yeah, you can't quite see. Like, there's his foot, there's his knee, and his head's just up behind there. But it's definitely, this is a medium, where the other one's like a small, so an advanced starter. Yeah.
So
Rao in the comments was saying it might be a whole B that newer one. And I went and looked at the whole B, like the back part, and that kind of does look like the little part where it curves up a little bit in the back, where the thrusters meet. So,
I could see that. I'm not going to dismiss that. I think we can agree with the curves. It's Mirai styling. Yeah. Again, they always give you enough rope just to hang yourself.
Yeah.
The whole reason they
but what's the hint?
I'll go back. But the whole reason they do this is to promote discussion, though. That's what it's for.
Yeah.
You're talking about the Finn one. It says you've earned your stripes. So when you earn your stripes, that's either combat or that leads to performance for me. That tells me it's Mirai.
That does sound more Mirai.
Yeah.
In the military, at least from my army experience, when we earned our stripes, it generally either meant we went to combat or or you win a race, sergeant. Yeah, or you earn like a higher rank.
Yeah. I think. Let's do a vote. Let's do a vote. Let's do a poll.
It's neither ship or anything. What they're doing is they're talking about a new military skin.
Yeah.
That you're doing a mission.
So what are we doing in the poll? Is this Mirai or Misk? Is that the poll?
That sounds good.
Yeah, I like that. Or something else. Like put a third option. I would say. That says, do you think it's something?
Or something totally different.
So Mirai, Misk, or other. We'll do that.
Yeah, it's a new military skin that you get for doing a mission. That's why you earn your stripes. Yeah, totally enough to kill it to hang ourselves. We're all thinking ships, and they go, gotcha. Yeah.
I do think that would be a really cool idea, though. You finish a mission, you don't just get money for it. They're like, hey, we found this like skin that was held by somebody. You should get a skin.
Yeah, I'd like to see nose art for or art or decals that go onto ships for completing missions.
Yeah.
You complete the first mission, you get a decal that gives you 1 star on your tail fin, and then you complete the 50th in the chain, and you got a string of stars.
Most people want one of those, those 1920 style World War II nose arts. Algared just wants an uwu girl on his. Yeah.
Get a Heartseeker.
Yep, I've got one.
Oh, my bad. I forgot who I was talking to for a second.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm surprised he's got just one.
Does he?
I got no clue. I'm just seriously surprised if he's only got one. He held back. So yeah. All right, what do we got so far? So it's pretty 50-50 at the moment. No, it's Misk. Wow. Okay. On YouTube, and then they're saying Common Sense on Twitch.
It's getting close.
As
the votes come in, it's matching up.
Yeah.
It's
so. We've also never seen a Misk ship with such flat surfaces.
I'm just trying to think of a Misk ship that has those wings, those aerofoil thing. I can't think of one. I can't even think of a. I'm gonna be honest with you. I can't think of a Mirai either. But it's different. Yeah. It's almost.
I've had a question rolling around. I've had a question rolling around in my head for a while. Is why is the B taking so long? Because why you finish the C and the A, it feels like the B should just be right behind.
I can actually answer
maybe.
That.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, he was probably saying what I'm going to say. Go ahead.
The B requires a complete rework of the concept because it has to be able to land with the cargo on the bottom, which it can't now.
But if that's the case, then maybe that's why we would see a wing or something like that. If it has to land in a way that the others don't.
Okay, so Xeric Masters does put up an interesting point, but we can also look at this objectively. So he says Mirai isn't silver though, but Mirai doesn't have enough ships yet. We've only got 2 ships from Mirai. Take that into account, right? So what if there is such a thing as an old? Well, I know technically that doesn't work because Mirai is a newer manufacturer. But what if it was What if it's been around for 10 years and this is like one of the first ships they brought over?
It's another ship that's in the Misk stable that was put out, but Misk have now decided really belongs in Mirai, just like the Razor.
Yeah, that threw me off.
Again, I think it could really go either way. Yeah, because we're now looking as a vote as it starts to stable. Misk is just slightly ahead. Now I said the question.
Depends.
Does people
YouTube,
even know what
ahead.
I should have put? Do you also know what Mirai is?
Yeah,
it's pretty much
slightly ahead on YouTube, and they're tied on.
Tied on Twitch. But it's interesting to see this because it just sees what other people are thinking. I like that.
It's also interesting to see that about 20% of the vote on both channels says other.
Yep.
Admittedly only 2, and but still, 20%. Okay,
that could just be them abstaining, or generally it could be something else. But yeah.
Jim Bassett, will the Vulcan be released before the Merchantman?
So, Twitch did just come back from an ad break.
Yep.
So, it's over. Never mind.
Pardon me. Yep, and they've evened up.
Yep. So 40-40 with 4 votes each on Twitch, and then we've got a total of almost 30 votes on YouTube, where it's 30 to 53, and then 70% says other.
Yep.
So this just got posted a few minutes ago. If the build holds tonight, they are opening the PTU up to all waves tonight.
So that would be.
No, that means it's very stable.
So that I can show that message because I know where that is. That would be communities.
And while you're digging that up, will the Vulcan be released before the Merchantman? This is from Jim Bassett.
100%. I think so.
Lemming?
I don't think anything's 100%, but
Well,
I
technically,
would
weren't
say
they-
likely.
Weren't they working on the Banner Mission, man? Whatever.
Oh,
I would say likely because really the Merchantman needs to be a work of art, and I think the Merchantman and the Endeavor should come out at the same time. To be completely honest with you,
Mm.
What'd you say? The
Oh, that's
Measurement and the
cool.
what?
Endeavor.
Endeavor.
in the Endeavor.
Oh, I could see that. If it's a one-off ship, if it's a totally bespoke one-off ship, I could see it. But
The room
could see it going
system.
the other way.
The room system plays so heavily into the Banner Meshman. That's why the Banner Meshman was being worked on when it was being worked on, because it ties into base building. It would have been it would have been the test bed for the room systems on ships.
Yeah, maybe. I think that the question as to whether the Vulcan beats the Merchantman, and this is a hard one, is tech, because the Vulcan needs drones. And until you get drones working,
drones are not that. Drones really fall down to a requirement now, because realistically, you kind of have drones. We've got the snub ship, and you've got remote turrets. It's literally just merging those two together. Not much more than that. There's obviously some little niggly lines of code, but that is essentially, they are there. You could essentially enter drone, and it would be entering into a snub ship remotely and then flying the snub ship
and then
off.
flying it remotely. Yeah. But that is the thing that I could see holding up a Vulcan, because it's
More
the
than-
drones that
More than likely, though, Algared, it's the other things on the other side of it. So, for example, say you had a salvage drone, they needed hand salvage before they could get the drone to do salvage. So maybe it's coming
and
slightly
they need hand
after that.
repair before you can get it doing that. And and they need refueling before you can really get it working with refueling, because you've got to get the nozzle to go to where it needs to go. So all of those things, and
so some of its parts, essentially, isn't it?
But you need those things working before you can really put the Vulcan in, and and so smaller ship, but probably more technical aspects to it. So
don't start that Antares. Someone in chat will go off their tree. But yeah, I do think Antares, what you're saying is, I think that is what is going to happen. But we'll see. We'll wait until CitizenCon. We'll see. Right, next question, please, Algared.
Nick Bassett from Jim Bassett. What aspects of science gameplay are you most looking forward to?
The explosions. And time travel. I want to go back to the future.
Science is a big one for me. I think for me, I want to be able to find things or create things that are very rare or very hard to come by in the verse, and either sell them or use them as like blueprints for my construction vehicles and stuff like that. And also, like, I think of the idea of overclocking, where it might require some special, scientific knowledge or part, or something that you can only get through some type of science work, and using that to like overclock parts and stuff like that.
Algared, I don't know about you, Algared, but it's like listening to a mad scientist describe his evil plans.
It does.
Just I could see the crazy hair and the
or the foil hat.
No, just like where the mad scientist always has the hair that's like lightning going out. Yeah. So all right.
Mad Mafia has a question.
Yep.
When will the game be fun enough to get the most player base back? Or get most of the player base back?
I think once you go, like, what we kind of realized at the start of this year, there was some real foundational multiplayer stuff that needed to come in. I think once that's in, that's when you'll start, like, you can, that's what those videos mean now. I've been doing recently. So like we did the scanning one with Space Tomo last weekend. We did the cargo one before that, and we also did we could see them started all this cross pollination of gameplay. And kind of what we were realizing was there is this fundamental, let's look at cargo as an example, right? Cargo goes across, it touches every other gameplay in the game. Scanning is the same, it touches every other gameplay in the game. So once you get those ones in that are like that fundamental ground level gameplay that touch everything, then you can put something more bespoke on it, like medical or hacking or whatever it is.
But in terms of trying to make the game fun and bring more activities that players would do, especially in an MPV game or a multiplayer PG, RPG game, I think that the stuff they showed on Pyro really picks that up. You've got the you go to a station and to repair yourself, and you can't work it because the fuse is blown on the thing. So you've got to go repair the fuse before you can actually. So those types of things are going to not just be, I go there and press a button. I've got to go and solve the problem. Why isn't it working? Okay. But I think I can see them developing that, and then looking at the crops and the way the system is. There's going to be a flare. Does that mean we turn off the systems to stop them being wrecked by the pulsar flare? Does that mean we have to lock everything down or turn the shields on? Or
So what you're describing, Algared, is essentially like what we've kind of been seeing is it's just rolling out.
Yep.
It's almost like
just rolling out those bits and pieces.
Almost like a budding flower. It's just every petal is opening, and you're going to see more and more things as time goes on. Yes, it is a glorified tech demo still, but again, whatever they show us at CitizenCon, like I said to Algared, I always said once Squadron 42 comes out, or we start them to see move over into Star Citizen, it would be after that first year, right? So this whole first year is. We know what they said last year. What they're going to say at CitizenCon this year should be the next year that's coming. That's why I'm so interested about this year's CitizenCon, because that shows. I expect a whole shitload of gameplay shit then to be talking about for next year.
It's the where we see the progress, and as we see the progress and where they're heading, that gives us a good indication of, are they stuck on something? Are they so. Yeah, 100%.
Because if all they do is talk about base building, which is what they did last year, it's going to be okay, this is going to take a couple of years. This is going to be slow.
We've got an issue. We're stuck. Yeah.
But if they start talking about like if they actually show off some bounty hunting stuff, that's at least progress, because they haven't shown that in 18 months. But I'd expect something new, like we just talked about drones. That would be something cool.
Yeah.
Or some other gameplay we've just never seen.
Or if they talk about base building, but they show you building bases, or
tying it in with repair and salvage,
like
how you can actually have the gameplays we've had before, but now they're in buildings. But I even like could we see our like we saw farming on ISC? Can we start to see the next step of farming, where they actually start talking about and you'll be able to plant your own crops? Like if they actually say that, I can't like it's there. It's that base building. There's crops in game. The only part that's missing is planting them yourself, and they grow. That's it.
And fertilizing your soil and
obviously, yeah.
All of that.
Well, they've already shown you how they're going to do that, Algared. It's sprinkling. Yeah. They've got the sprinklers.
Hey, Dad, the sprinklers going as well, but you'll
just put chemicals in the sprinklers, Algared. You won't actually plant fertilizer.
Yeah, but doing the
look, Algared, I know how much you want to fling shit, but you could just do it with the sprinkler, okay, buddy? You just calm down. I know Old Man Hurst wants to get out the shit shovel and go to town. By the way, did you know Adolf Hitler's grandmother's last name translated to shit shoveler? Useless piece of information, but I just want to share that. All right, you go ahead.
You've made me forget what I was going to say. But
that was my whole point. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I be a bit of a buzzkill?
Yep.
To answer that question, some percentage of the amount of people that think what Star Citizen is going to be are going to be grossly disappointed.
Yeah, absolutely. We've said that for years. We've done multiple videos to that account.
So when is it fun? Well, that depends on you, because it may never be fun.
Yeah, your vision, and this is the thing we've seen, right? Some people, right, we've talked to so many people, how you get those people that have the internal monologue, and there's the people that don't have an internal monologue, as an example, right? There are people that just don't have the vision to take on board what CIG have said and basically translate that or convert that into the gameplay. They have to see it themselves. We've talked to people, right, and they go say, fix my fleet. I remember, the one I'm talking about, Algared. That guy, he goes, I just can't see how medical gameplay is going to be, or whatever the gameplay was. He could not perceive, he couldn't connect the dots, right? No matter how much me and Algared explain it to them, he just could not.
But That's different people.
And that's different people are different. We're not having a go at him. We're saying that's us realizing that some people can't do that.
But it's also some people just aren't interested in that type of gameplay. And so that's you start talking medical gameplay to someone who's absolutely got no interest in that. But boring
you're getting off the point because I'm going on what Lemming just said, right?
Yep.
Some people can't. They had a different vision of what this was going to be, and their visions are not being met. I think the only one I can say that would be predominantly a little bit like that with a PvP is recently. Because now the master modes are coming on that they've always talked about. They've always talked about that's how it was going to be. Higher time to kill, the components and all that. And all of a sudden they're changing the game from what it's been for the last 10 years, which has just been this simple vanilla type of thing. And they want that high skill cap kept. I can't see why it can't be high skill capped on the other side. But the other thing, that's only single seat fighters. As soon as you move it over to multi-crew,
it changes.
It changes everything. You need all those other components and stuff like that. Small fighters will still have their place, but again, they're going to have to be highly targeted and working as a team to go in and pick off certain components to bring down bigger ships.
But to pick up again what Lemming was saying, if I've understood you correctly, Lemming, was that people can't see, people who like this particular gameplay don't find gameplay X fun. So you find fun in the things you're interested in. So for some people, the game will never be fun because it doesn't meet the things they want. And other people, if you're doing medical, and I hate if I'm talking medical and you hate medical, you're going to find that boring. If I'm sitting there doing medical and you want to do combat, you're bored out of your brain. If I'm doing repair and you want medical, you're bored out of your brain. So you're talking about finding the gameplay for you that you actually enjoy. Yeah. You might have thought you were going to like medical, but it turns out you prefer. Yeah. So it's those types of things as well. And so
that goes back to what I said earlier today, where that guy who was always a combat guy, and then all of a sudden they were finding that he really liked repair, and he never thought he would.
He just gelled into it
because again, sometimes you just can't see what that game. And I'm going to freely admit that, like until you actually get in the chair and tried salvage or mining, they're the only two that we have that are not really combat at the moment. Did you think that that's what it was going to be? And there is some, and you often heard that from people that did salvage, is going, it's different to the others. It's more therapeutic and quiet. Where mining is, you're really focused and you're trying to get that timing just right. There's none of that pressure when it comes to salvage. It's just this, it's a lot more casual. And again, that's great because you want different. Where combat is always on all the time, all channels. So you've got 3 different types of stress level of gameplay, and that's a great thing to have. Different variety.
No, I can see that spawned some questions in our chat on medical gameplay, and because the discussion's kind of gone there, I'll pick it up. So Dark Side of Gamer says, how is medical gameplay going to work though? I have doubts about the medical for a while. And then Monster AV came in and said, given all the drugs and med pens and stuff they've brought in, you can see they've got a plan for that, and the fact that you can overdose on your medicines, and the fact that you can take them away, and but
we haven't even got into saving people's lives, organs, limb replacement, any of that stuff yet. So again, you can see almost all gameplay has different levels to it, different as things get worse in medical, the more skilled it becomes. Like almost everyone can put on a band-aid, but I can't do brain surgery, as an example. Yeah,
and I think that's what we haven't yet seen. I think
you can do brain surgery.
Sorry, what's that?
Well, then they'll end up like Algared when I finished.
Right, exactly.
But there's also in the middle, like the same thing. Like a general practitioner can do way more than I can with a band-aid, right? But they also can't do brain surgery.
Yep.
So there's again, it's how far into the medical do you go? And we know this game is all skill-based. So only I don't know what the percentage is, right? So let's say be generous and say 25%. There's only going to be 25% of people that are going to be able to pull that off at the bottom, right?
Yeah.
Anyone can attempt it, but the fate, your ranking, we know they're going to be player rankings. So as a doctor, you're a known doctor or brain surgeon. Yeah, this guy's only got 1 star. I'm not going to go to him. That's why his prices are cheap. But this guy charges through the nose. But he's going to pull it off. That's why I'm going to go with him.
And and Darkside again came back. He said, "I'm not talking about the actual played stuff. I'm talking about the ships that have the ability." And I know that one of the things I can remember when talking about is having the skill to manipulate the systems that you're working with. Now, are they going to apply that to the beds? Are they going to, so there's a whole pile of stuff that we don't know. But we know they're kind of talked about. We know they're kind of got an idea for it, but we don't know the workings out.
You boys just reminded me of something. I was just reading what Billy and wrote in chat.
Yep. I was about to literally talk about that, but go for it.
Yeah, you've just reminded me. The grey box, was it October, November? They had the Apollo in grey box. We haven't seen anything all year.
Yep.
This is true. This is true.
Which could be they're holding it back for CitizenCon to talk about.
That's actually what I wanted to talk about. Is I think this CitizenCon we're going to see a lot of stuff about medical, because I think it's going to be difficult to launch this game without having a heavy discussion about medical. And it actually ties into that question they asked about what is medical gameplay going to be like.
Yep.
I think they're going to take a lot of the systems from repair and put them in medical. I don't know if it'll be like salvage to repair, that type of thing, but I do think they're going to use some of the groundwork for repair and use that for how they're going to do medical.
You are sick and twisted, sir. He wants to salvage bones.
No, you know he does. You already know.
You can be cybernetic. I mean, I'm a science guy, so we'll see.
He's trying to harvest us. He's trying to harvest us.
You already know he's the evil scientist, so.
Yeah. He's going to harvest us for our organs.
That's
Just remember when we go to CitizenCon, don't fall asleep. You'll wake up in a bathtub covered in ice.
Okay. So, you think the verse will be online in less than 5 years after Squadron 42 release?
I think it's already online now, is it not? Technically speaking.
Technically speaking, we've got one system of the verse. Will we get more? Will we have more than 5 systems in the verse 5 years after Squadron 42
Well, technically,
releases?
we should have 2 by the end of the year. We know that they redid the whole lot of Stanton with 3 people in less than, 2.5 months. So if they can do it that quickly,
and we know
the real holdback then becomes landing zones. We know that they're moving into the building system to speed up the building of zones and stuff like that. We know that they've now brought on all of Turbulent to actually build those systems
Turbulent
out.
basically have a group that are just focused on the planets.
So if you have half your people working on, and I don't know what the number is, right? So I think we did the math on it, where if you took 50 people, you could do 100 systems within 18 months, I think was what we worked out. But you also realize that what the real hold-up becomes is the primary landing zones, because they're all kind of more bespoke and more detailed. But if you cut Turbulent halfway down the middle, and you want more people working on the buildings, is essentially what I'm trying to say. And again, if they are continually working on buildings as they build out those libraries, they can start to cross-pollinate. At some point, they're going to reuse Microtech assets in a different place. And we also know that the way they've built buildings, so let's just look at the outposts, for example, right? You've seen how they're messed up, you've seen how they're dirty, you see how they can be covered in yellow dust, snow. You see where I'm going with this, right? You can take the same buildings and put them on an ice planet, and all of a sudden they look different, right? You change a few colors, they look different. You saw in the grenades that I showed you there, one model, 6 different textures. It's exactly the same thing. As you build these tile sets out, you get a stone texture, you get a brick texture. Same building, different texture. Again, as they build the libraries out, the bigger and quicker, it's just going to snowball. Because again, you can, and in an essential sense, if you started to then specialize those teams, so you move a team into snow planets, you move another team into lava planets. You hear where I'm trying to go with this, right, Algared? You can then hyper-focus and pick up the speed, and they can jump between systems working on what they know. That, I think they probably won't do, though, because of boredom. Boredom is an absolute killer in game development. If you keep making the same...
After doing the 50th ice planet, I'm looking for a new job.
Yeah, but if they find ways to speed it up, which they will do, it's only going to pick up speed. And again, when you're talking 5 planets, we're at 2. We're only talking 3 more. And again, knowing where the tech's going, and we're going to another level of tech, the planets and stuff, just going to pick up again.
Yep.
So I don't think it's going to take 5 years. And I already know from the people that I talked to in the background that Nix is fairly worked on. We know that. Like, well, Nix was in the game.
Yeah.
They had
Dalama.
the planetoid in the game. It was in the CitizenCon demo as you fly the freelancer in. So, you know, rework, upwork, whatever you want to call it. And that's the main landing zone for that area. And unlike most systems, Stanton's is a rarity where it has multiple landing zones, right? And again, you can go look at Pyro and say, yes, there's a lot more landing zones there now, but they are space stations. They're just expanding that procedurally generated space tech, right?
And will we have space stations necessarily in Nix? Maybe not, but we'll certainly have more of those asteroid bases, which asteroid bases really they're a step removed from space stations.
They're like procedurally generated outposts again.
And we'll have we'll have abandoned ones, we'll have populated ones, we'll have ones where they're legit business, we'll have ones that are criminal business.
And not only that, some systems are just going to be more Spartan than others. And Nix sounds like it is one of those ones, right? You go read the blurb, and it just sounds, for lack of a better another word, desolate. It really does. Like, it just, the way it talks about it is mainly, and it's an asteroid rings, you know,
that's been mined out.
So yeah,
and you know, someone said earlier in chat that Nix sounds like the German word for nothing, and that
Nix. It's Nix as in there's nada. Yeah.
You know, so yeah.
Next to Nix, I think is the term. Next to Nix, is that the term?
Yep.
I think it is. Yeah.
Okay, Jim also had another question. How do you think ship AI will be implemented for quality of life gameplay?
Well, ship AI.
Don't
we already kind of have ship AI at the moment? I tell you what, when you get on, you know, the servers where they're walking around and they're all functioning properly. If you manage to get out to where the ships are before more people get on the server, they fly pretty well and they shoot pretty well. But most of the time, let's be honest, because we don't have server
most of the time the lag,
they're garbage. Yeah. So again, you take this onto a local machine where you're actually testing and playing Squadron. We know they talked about AI pretty extensively last year. As we led about this time, as we were leading up to CitizenCon, you can't have a single play without decent AI. And even if, like, just say server meshing stays shit as it is right now, and Squadron comes out, you can look at the AI in the Squadron and go, well, this is what I should expect in Star Citizen. So that'll be your test bed. So yeah. Billy, you got anything you want to add to that? You're going real quiet all of a sudden.
He's typing in chat. He's in a discussion on the 890 jump and the 600i, and you know, he's distracted. It happens.
No, I'm listening.
Yeah, but you're also distracted.
Yeah.
This is true. Both are true. I think when you say quality of life, I think AI blades, and I think when they're working on getting these ships to work properly, they're also thinking, well, how does this work for a gunner, right? Like, how does this look like if we give the players an AI blade to put into this slot, or an NPC to put into this slot? And that's what I think of when I think of AI for ships. So the more progress that we see on, you know, in Arena Commander when we're fighting against people and stuff like that, I think the more progress we see there, that's going to translate into better AI gameplay when they actually put it into Star Citizen.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Yep. Yeah, and I think, you know, the levels of that will come into, okay, a top gunner is going to be like an A grade blade, and a gunner that misses 90% of the time, that's going to be an E grade blade, and then you'll have different blades for different companies that probably give different levels of it. But that's just me.
So the A grade Execute blade versus the D grade Old Man Hurston blade, right? Okay, got it. Yep, check.
An F grade.
You leave yourself open every single time.
See how rude he is. See how rude he is.
Look, it's not my fault that you're slow.
Not slow.
I know. Right, next question.
Not my fault, but you're rude.
Hey,
JD Wenzel.
No, you mean witty and clever and faster than you. Yeah, that's what you mean by rude. I need to find out. I need to make an acronym now for rude. Oh, come on, don't worry. Someone else called me rude earlier because I steered you back on track. But anyway, right.
JD Wenzel, will you please make more speculation videos? I love those. Yes.
Well,
Okay, moving on.
It's really funny. Some of the videos we make that we really enjoy, other people hate.
Yep.
Yeah. I feel like most of my channel is speculation.
That's all you can really do.
I'm just
right
like, yeah. I mean, I feel like it's fun though. That's what I have fun with the most is speculating on like things that are going to happen or going to happen. But it's like, I feel like it's more than just speculation. Sometimes I feel like sometimes we're making educated guesses based on things that CIG has done before and things that they're currently working on and things that they've talked about. So some of it's speculation, some of it's educated guesses.
Yep, indeed. Yeah, and I think that kind of ties in with certainly this question I'm going to bring up, because what's your take on Death of a Spaceman? When a lot of gameplay being introduced by CIG involves high body counts and the use of respawn mechanics to rejoin the fight quickly. And ultimately, life matters, and if you don't watch your life, you're going to die. We do know they've talked about that the respawn mechanic and the sphere has a problem.
I so want to say a joke, but it'll get me cancelled.
I know you want to say a joke, and
I'll just get me cancelled. No, it's not about you. It'll get me cancelled type of joke. It's just the way you talked about high body count. I'll leave it there. Someone else will figure that out.
Yeah, I know about high body counts. Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what's your take on Death of the Spaceman?
I think it's making people more cautious. I think it leads into that valuable time thing you and I talked about in the episode we did a couple of weeks ago. It really ups the stakes, and that's the thing. Like a lot of the games we play, like, and we know Chris talked about Dark Souls and stuff like that. It is taking, like all the games you play now, like most of them, there's no. It's not saying make the game harder. It's increasing the stakes. Right?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be harder. Like it's just the same as every other shooter shooting things.
Yeah.
You know, but to get that look at the game right now. There are no escorts. Nobody wants them. Nobody uses them. But as soon as you put the value of that cargo up, and again, even if the cargo was worth nothing, right? And it took you an hour to load it. It's valuable to you. It's a value to you, and you are going to give a shit about your time.
I thought we were talking about very different escorts.
Okay, right. Yes.
I think Death of a Spaceman, just from, like I told you, I went back and watched a whole bunch of videos all in a row. And when you watch them in a row, I think it gives you maybe a different perspective. But I don't think Death of a Spaceman was really supposed to be this like hardcore permadeath type of thing. I think it's, like you said, it's supposed to just be a sense of risk.
Yeah.
And as I think they're going to take it as close to hardcore sim as they can, and then they're going to bring it back to the point of fun. Yep. So, you know, how many lives do we get before we are properly dead and we have to do this thing where we start over new? Yeah. And also, I think you have to work on time to kill. You have to work on, like, it should be hard to kill a person if it's going to matter this much. It should also create a really huge disincentive to killing people.
Yep.
Because it matters so much. So, like, maybe if you kill a person, you get this 5-star rating like Grand Theft Auto.
Yep.
You know,
it also gives you incentive though for progression, because you can have your rep reset, but it also gives you the ability to change who you are, so to speak, right? So eventually, when you do die, you can morph what you were. You can, I don't like these particular things about myself, like, so you can change the characteristics of your character. You can go from male to female and stuff like that. We know you can pass things on to your kin. We know that you can marry other races, and over time, literally breed over to other races. Now, we know that there are skills in the games now, like if you repetitively pick up boxes, you'll get small buffs and stuff like that. Why can't you have racial buffs as well? We know they've had them other games like Elder Scrolls and stuff like that. That's a thing that they can bring around too. So, and once you bring other alien races in as well, like the Devara and the Banu and stuff like that, can you slowly morph into those? Are we going to eventually see hybrids between the races? I don't know. I'm just speculating. Sounds pretty weird to get a half Banu Tevaran, but who knows? You know where I'm going with this, right, Algared, right?
So there are opportunities there. I don't think CRG have ever said that, but you can certainly see it from other games where you've got that.
They've talked about you could change your races, as in go from like a black to a white person or white to black or whatever. But they said it in they didn't use black and white. They used like different areas of space, and I can't remember the exact area they talked about. Like if you're from a certain planet and then you move to a certain area and you kept breeding, you could eventually essentially breed yourself out, is essentially what they described. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but obviously there has to be. Why would you want to go from black to white or white to black? Like that doesn't actually have any gameplay connotations. So there's got to be some gameplay reason in there, right? So that's what I'm saying. So it has to be something to do with buffs or racial skills or whatever.
Certainly the death of a spaceman, as Billionaire raised up. When you go back and read it, they certainly weren't talking about permadeath being absolute. That's it, you're done. Yeah. Because it was always when you have your X number of lives, and then you get your burial scene, and you pass your stuff is passed on to your next character.
He literally talked about when you make your character, you then make your next of kin's name. And then literally, so the way he talked about it, you making it in a mirror. You're making your character in a mirror, like in a bathroom or whatever, as you're enrolling at the UEE, and then you'd go outside after you've made your character and talk to the officer, and the officer would go, "Who do you want to leave your stuff to?" And you'd write down who they are. So if you're like John Citizen, you might write down Sarah Citizen, and then all your stuff will pass to her, and your next character would then be that you've got their name, and so when when you die, you would then make Sarah in the mirror and go play Sarah.
Yeah, and they talked about, at one time, instead of waking up in your hospital bed, you might wake up and you're at the funeral.
Yep.
Or you wake up and you're looking in the mirror. Yeah. And you're looking at the mirror, recreating a character, and you go, "Oh shit."
Yeah. Yeah.
That was when you knew you'd reach your limit. Oh, I'm at my funeral. Dang.
I reckon the same thing will happen.
I'm now looking in the mirror, redoing my character. That was when you'd see.
You wake up in the medical bed and they replace one of your legs or arms. I think that'll be a thing too. Because we haven't talked about that yet.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So they're the types of things the death of a spaceman works, but it's not, I'm permadead, that's it, my account's wiped, I've got to start again from scratch.
Yeah. It's just a setback. You lose a part of your rep.
Setback. You're losing your rep's reset, just as you were saying, but it's got to do with your stuff. It's
got to do with progression, Algared. If you think about it, like when you die, it knocks that progression back, so you've got to do it again. Otherwise, you're just going to be sitting 100% all the time on everything. So it's a way to keep you moving forward.
But it also enables you to change, as you were saying, the focus. I've always been the criminal. Okay, I've died. Yeah. Oh, I'm not a massive criminal anymore. Yeah. I can actually go into the lawful areas because I'm not that person.
Yeah, it gets you to change things because, do I sit? I don't know what the rep's going to drop to, right? So say it drops by 20%. Okay, do I sit here and grind back up to 100, or do I take the opportunity, move system completely, and grind it up in a different system? Because that's also kind of what they implied when they say you take yourself from one system and go to another planet and essentially breed yourself out.
Yeah. Now Machiavelli says, I don't know about that. Sounds like medical speculation. We just don't know anything about replacing limbs. No, they have talked about it. Yeah. They have talked about if your limbs are damaged enough, you would actually have to get a prosthetic limb.
Star Citizen. I'm going to just type limbs and see if I get any hits at all.
Yeah. I like that. I love that idea too, because it means
look at this.
Yes, you've made a mistake.
And they also talked about if you've been badly injured, your body, when you regenerate, your limb is crushed and it's got to be replaced.
So there's a whole screen just of limbs. And look, you can even see the Star Citizen logo. Why did that not open?
So they have talked about those types of things.
Yeah.
So Algared, I'll just move Algared. Cybernetics work in progress, and then Star Citizen logo, so it's all there. Back where he goes, but yeah. And you got to, let's be honest. I know they are slightly different 3D models, but you could kind of fake some of these with textures too.
Yep.
So you almost see that these two are exactly the same, but they're just different textures. So you can see where they're going. They'll probably make I don't know, X number. So maybe they make 10 different limbs, but then they have multiple different textures. You get a plastic one, a metal one. You know.
Yeah, and they've talked about different ways they can implement this stuff. Whether it's high, whether I've got the money to be able to afford to get a biological arm regenerated or made.
Yeah.
Whether I can do X, whether I've got to do machine, whether I've got to do. So one of the characters in.
Got to be careful here. There's other games coming up, and I don't want to. I don't want to open the wrong thing. And there was legs though. I'm just trying to find.
Yep. And there was an example of
that lady at
from Levski. So she's got the kind of really machine type leg. She couldn't afford to get a better leg, so she's got this chunky, almost ship landing gear leg. Yeah. And so you got those were the types of things I talked about. Now, do we know how that's going to actually work? What they're going to do in that? No, but we know what they've talked about. We know they've talked about these things are going to be things that are in.
Yeah.
So
that's a good one because it actually shows. I might have found a gallery. Here we go. Oh, there you go. So that's more like her. But that's an arm. But that's more like her leg. She had the. See, so even you're getting junker ones. You can kind of get what you afford. There you go. There's legs. Trying to see the one she had. She had a very construction. And even, I wonder if that actually means, Algared, you might have different ones. So like it's just like from the forearm down.
Yep.
Or is it always going to be the whole arm? I guess we'll find out
as time goes on. But at the moment, you're right. We don't really know, but we know what they've talked about, and that's one of the things that we find in the past. They talk about Death of the Spaceman. They talked about regeneration, and Death of the regeneration tech came in, and people say, "Oh, this is all new." And, no, it's just an implementation of what we've been talking about for years.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. I hope that answers your question. No, it is not speculation on our part. That is very much a thing. And this is kind of what we meant to about different layers to medical. Like what we have now is essentially stopping from people dying and a bit of reviving. But when you come back or you lose an entire limb, you see where we're going here. So, and then we haven't even got into the internals of the body, into organs. And that'll be a thing as well. So there's still a couple more bits to come.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add there, Billing, or Billion? I keep calling Billing. Billion.
No, I did have to say something. I really agree with the kind of amputee thing going as well. I could also see it being like you when you get hurt, which part of your body actually got hurt, like which part of your body is actually hurt, and that's the part you have to replace. And if it is your chest and your head, obviously those are harder to replace than your limbs, so maybe that adds to it. And then also maybe a slight jump to reputation after your character dies. I could see it as like, kind of nepotism, where yes, you get a little bit of reputation, you keep a little bit of the reputation of your father or whoever it is that was your beneficiary, but then you lose a lot of it, but you don't lose all of it,
Yeah. And I talked about that aspect in the past as well, and it gives you that chance to,
I had a bit of a funny chuckle. I'm just sitting here thinking of like you were talking about different limb replacements and stuff like that, and you got shot in the chest, and then I thought of a Drake lung replacement. It's just a garbage bag going. And then like a steampunk version, steampunk version's like the old accordion, and it's like
the Scottish version of the bagpipe.
Yeah.
Anyway, so going back a question, because switching back, Ben had a question, which was, what do you guys think of a new Saber variant? Do you think the EMP or Razor variant of the Saber would sell?
I think whatever it is that's coming with 324. So we'll see. I don't think you have to wait long. I think we're definitely going to see it before CitizenCon. I think though it's a bit because there's nothing really new about it. Like we've got QED before. Like how are you going to differentiate that from the other QEDs? And unless it can go toe to toe with the Mantis.
Lemming?
So assuming that it's the non-Intel Raven, which I'm quite sure it is, I think it's going to sell like hotcakes.
So you do realize that it based on what they've said, it is more than likely a QED, right? Not a EMP.
Okay.
But what I will say is what Lemming kind of said there is that it is probably going to sell better than the Firebird did. I think we're going to agree that it's the closest you're going to get to a Saber Raven or an Intel Raven without getting an Intel Raven.
I'm actually hoping for closer to the Mantis, because the Mantis is the only one that has that.
Well, that's what I mean. That's what I meant by it's got.
But I'm saying even further than that, though, getting a quantum snare, not just a dampener, but
that's what I meant.
You're saying
that's
snare
literally
as well?
what I meant.
Okay.
I said it's got to stand toe to toe with the Mantis. That's what I meant by that.
Okay.
Because at the moment, like the Antares, look how lackluster the Antares was. Now that was a lot of it because it was a 2-seater, but if it's literally just a single-seater Scorpius, no one's gonna care. No one cares.
Right.
You got that. You've already got that in the Cutlass Blue, and the Cutlass Blue's cheaper. I just buy the Cutlass Blue. You know, it can do more, right? But if it can do what the Mantis does, it's like the Mantis plus guns, then it'll sell.
Yeah, because I would consider that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would, right? But if they don't do that, and again, we don't know the gameplay reasons for why they do things and don't, because they don't share that. But my instinct is telling me that it won't, but boy, I hope I'm wrong. I really do.
Yep. Next question.
Yep.
JDE 4472 says, do you think the Nursa will fit the Zeus ES?
The Nursa will sit in the Zeus ES. I think it was Cyclone only because of the door, wasn't it, Algared?
I think we did look at that. We had a similar question last week, and I think we looked at the sizing.
Yeah.
And I think someone actually had the Zeus, and actually had an Ursa, not an Ursa, a Cyclone sitting in the thing, and went, nah. Yeah, look at it. It was chops.
That's right. I remember now. And when we looked at the CL, it would physically fit, but it's the limitation of the door. And again, if you look at the videos and that from IRC, it has a very almost vertical door on the back there. So when that drops down, it's very low to the ground. And so I think it's going to be a clearance issue more than anything else. You might be able to, say, open the door in space and then shove an Ursa in, but you're not going to get one off the ground because of the clearance. So, yeah.
Yep.
There you go. The prisoner says the C1 can hold an Ursa if you knock the wheels off.
Yeah, I was actually going to say that if you knock the wheels off an Ursa, it fits in a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, if you want an Ursa or an Ursa in a ship of that size, it's the Max. That's it. It's the only one it fits in, and that's one of the reasons. That's the Max's thing. Right, and and let's be honest, the Max needs a couple of things over the CL. It really does. And like Algared always brings up the component issue with the CL, they are roughly on par from a thing. So if the only thing it gets is that it can also carry an Ursa, I think it needs it. I don't know. Do you guys agree with me on that? It needs one little thing above the CL.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say right before you said. That's the Freelancer has the ability to take that Ursa. And also, if you look at the C1 that can barely fit it with the wheels off, it's 10 meters high, whereas the Zeus is only 8 meters high. So I don't even think I think even with the wheels off, it might not even be able to fit. So well,
great minds think alike, mate. That's all I'm going to say there.
Mr. Mac 1000 says, what's your opinion on best of show? Should the paints go to all active accounts and not just be based on ship ownership?
No, because it's always been about making money for them. That's what that is. The ship showdown is to drive sales. That they're not doing this for. They put it on now because it's a lull period. But what it is to drive, like, by us telling them what the most popular ships are, they know which ones to put skin on, so they make money. It's like whoever thought this up is not a genius. It's very brilliant. Obvious. I won't call it that. I'll call it evil because that's what I think it is. It is. It's evil. It is literally making us pit against each other to, and again, I think the other part of it is the way they've done it this year. They are no longer the most popular ships in the game. They are the most popular in the categories they chose. And what we talked about before with the Terrapin versus the 600i and the 890 jump is just more evidence of that.
Yeah, well, why don't we have any Drake ships this year? Because as we were talking, Drake are popular, but they don't, in the categories.
What was it last year, Algared? There was 3 of them last year, and there's 1 this year.
What's the Drake ship this year?
We got the Vulture.
Of course.
Yeah. But last year we...
one Drake, I forgot about it.
Last year we got 2.
No, I thought we had 3. We had the Cutter, the Corsair, and the
I was
Vulture.
just saying in the Final 4.
Yeah, in the Final 4, though, we got 2, right? But in the entire... someone corrected me earlier yesterday, and I said there was 3, and they said, no, there was only 2. And I went, no, I'm pretty sure there was 3. And then I went and looked it up, and I was right. The Cutter was 1, and it beat the 890 jump, and then it lost to something else. So it didn't get any skin at all. But thing that I find is when the casuals come along at AIE and there's no Drake skins, I'm sorry, Drake, I don't know, I'd love to see the data, but I know that a lot of people that are, like a lot of beginners that I show around, the ships that they like are like alien ships and Drake ships. That there's just something about Drake that speaks to people. I don't know why, it just does.
There is an aesthetic.
And then when they look at the extra price of Origin, it just turns them off.
Yep.
I still like them. They just don't want to buy them. Sorry?
I think I could speak to that. Go ahead.
What did Algared say, sorry, about Origin?
I said, everyone says that about Origin.
Yeah.
When they say Origin ships.
Yeah, everyone likes them. They just don't want to pay extra for them.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Sorry, Billionaire, you were going to say?
I was going to say what I think draws people to Drake, because I actually did a video where I was talking about my favorite manufacturers, and it just turned out to be Drake was at the top 3. And I'm not even a fan of the aesthetic, but the types of ships they make speak to such a varied amount of people that I think that's why people are drawn to it. Like you got the Herald, the Ironclad. Think about the gameplay loops that are connected to those. And how many different areas they reach. There's not a whole lot of manufacturers that reach that many different areas of gameplay. So I think it's just likely that people will like Drake just because of the gameplay that Drake brings. But I do also think people like that design aesthetic.
We were saying that there is no Drake racer. It's like one of the only things they haven't hit. And something Algared brings up quite a lot too, Algared, to not stealing your thunder. But that's not what I was going to talk about.
That's not what
the other thing you talk about is the Buccaneer. Like where's the medium fighter? Where's the heavy fighter from Drake? They don't exist. So that's like these are the pirate guys, and the only real combat craft, and I mean strictly combat, is the Buccaneer. Where are the others? Like, if this is the pirate manufacturer, where are all their combat craft? See where I'm coming at? So there's more coming.
Reading that lore, right? Like, I think I just read the Cuddy Red lore and how they were trying to avoid that kind of perception. So I think they pulled away from making the spacecraft.
Yep.
So the specific fighters, just so they could say, look, we have a Cuddy Red. You should like this. And then there was that big event that happened that got the Cuddy Red to give them a different personality. So,
but you've got to have the fighters to pull away from. We've got a Buccaneer. Where the fuck are the other ones?
Monster AV, I wish I was only wincing every time Execute calls Drake the pirate manufacturer.
Well, no. Okay, let me reword that. So-called pirate manufacturer. Yeah. You get my point, right? How can you have
I knew exactly what you were saying.
How can you have a reputation for piracy when there is not enough combat ships to make you the pirate to begin with? That's my whole point.
How can you be the pirate manufacturer when every pirate you come across is flying an M50 or a Freelancer or a
M50?
Like
how many M50
you see more pirates in game, AI pirates in game, flying anything but Drake. Yeah. So how the flip do you call them a pirate manufacturer? They are a pirate manufacturer because they're outside of the norm, because they're out on the fringes and they're doing these cheap ass ships, and the big manufacturers don't like them.
Exactly.
That's the only way they're a pirate manufacturer.
It's almost like it's political motivated media bashing type of thing, or whatever you want to call
it.
Yep. So.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. T-Jack has got a question. He says, I think we need to get over ship paint purchases and make them custom made like they said they would in the past. If you already brought it, give us an LTI ship cleaning ticket for compensation. Yay, nay. I don't get what he means by ship cleaning ticket. Like, is he talking about cleaning up the paint?
I think you might be talking about the 300i thing that they had, where you could create your own. And I think they said that didn't work they said it was way too much work to implement. So I think that's why they got rid of it. But I'm not 100% sure if that's what he's talking about.
They test a lot of things, don't they? So, I don't know if it works or not. I think they've made too much money from skins. I don't think they're ever going to go back. I think they need to change it, though. Me and Algared have talked about this. I think we only talked a couple of streams ago. They need to sell essentially like camos and patterns, but colors you can pick whatever you want. That's what they should be moving to. So you come up with a cool camo, like a digital camo, or even the snow one they've got, and you can think of all the different ways you can use camos. That they've got a multi-tiered alpha mapping system in this game that you could even sell like wear and tear skins, so you can have a camo cross with like a really dirty look or a really clean look. You can sell all those, right? But they probably want actually now I think about the cleanliness and dirty one, that's a part of the wear and tear system, so they might not do that. But you get my point, right? Decals like the nose art, the uwu girls for Algared's plane, big Execute logo. They can do all the different content creator logos, Billionaire Ninja, suck it to me on a missile or whatever you want to call it, and just shoots it right up the clacker. You get where I'm going with this, right? So they essentially need to sell things like that. But if I want a red ship or a blue ship, I can do that. I can make it, because then at range they all look the same, and it really only matters when you get up close.
It could be the dye system from like a Guild Wars 2, something like that, where you get the skin, but you have to find the dye specifically for that color, and maybe you can apply the dye.
Don't give them that
to
idea.
any other. I'm not saying that's what they should do. I'm saying it could be that.
Then it turns into Destiny, where you've got to buy 5 different red tints at $5 a pop to paint all your armor. Enough. Stuff that
unfortunately we do know that Chris did look at Guild Wars 2 at one point.
Yes, that's why I mentioned it. Yeah,
look at the mini missions and the rewards and other stuff. So we know Chris looks at the other games that are out and playing.
I'm not saying you should have to get multiples though. Like I feel like you get a color and then you just own that color for anything you want to apply it to. I think that would make a lot more sense rather than like it's a one-use color type of thing.
I think with where they're going, believe it or not, that's probably more going into the reputation system, because they talked about getting skins for ships and shirts and clothing. They used the franchise. Remember how the different restaurants, Algared? I can't remember. Like there was an Asian type style noodle one, and they had different colors, and one was like red and one was like blue and orange. And if you unlock that skin, you could then put that skin on whatever ship you were doing those delivery missions on. Do you remember what I'm talking about, right?
You've certainly got the two delivery companies. You've got the Red Wind, and then you've got the other one, and they would have their own different colors, and so you'd become a delivery driver for.
I think
a delivery driver for.
Yeah, I think you're better to lock skins and stuff like that behind rep balls to give you motivation to play, rather than if you can take that noodle truck skin and then all of a sudden put camos on it. You see where I'm going with this? The patterns make so much more sense than selling colors. Now, we do know a little bit to that effect. Disco Lando talked about the Nox when it came out, and one of the questions someone asked is, why can't I just make a silver Nox? Why would I care? And his reply was, but you wouldn't get the exact look and decals. Now, at a distance, they'd look exactly the same, but when you got up closer, there'd be other little details that were exclusive to the Nox skin, and that's where I got the idea from. That they need different decals and patterns. That's what they do. That's what they sell. Not the colors, because then you can just have whatever color you want.
Well, that's what I'm agreeing with you with. I think you should be able to get those. I'm just saying you earn the colors in game, not the decals. You can earn both of them in game. But what I'm saying is once you get that decal, you can change the color of the decal with found paints and stuff like that. Yeah, that's what I was saying.
And I think my reply to that was literally no. If you do dyes, have them rep gated.
Yeah,
and there's another game
be...
coming soon, Warhammer Space Marine 2. You know how that's coming,
yeah.
right? And they've got, so as you unlock factions, so like Space Wolves or Blood Angels, stuff like that, you unlock the different colored paints for those factions. So if I go out and do the like I unlock Limhoon's Red or whatever brand, you know, whatever I know it was a restaurant. I can't remember what the branding was. But as I unlock that branding, I might unlock, if they're blue and orange, I unlock their distinct blue and their distinct orange. And you could then have a massive color wheel, and it's got like 300 different colors on it or whatever. You know what I mean? So yeah.
As you know, in the same vein, I want to see the nose art be able to be applied to my ships. So I want to be able to get the rewards and get a nose art and be able to say, yeah, I'm putting that on my ship. And I don't want it to just be one that's tied to an F7C. I want to be able to take my earned nose art and say, yeah, I'm applying it to this ship.
So if I'm hearing you correct, Algared, when you unlock that skin for a ship, you get a custom skin that's like a preset one, but you can kind of like unlock it, so to speak, and rejig stuff. So where the logo is, you could move the logo to somewhere else. You could move. So if the colors like cuts the ship directly in half, you could move where the colors are because there's a pattern. Yeah. So you can change the pattern, change the colors, change the decals.
If you look at the way that decals work in War Thunder.
Yep.
Once you've unlocked the decal, you can apply it on any vehicle. Yeah. Whether it's a ship, plane, or tank.
Yep.
And you can increase the size, you can decrease the size, you can mirror the size, you can do whatever. And you can place that decal anywhere on your ship.
Yeah, I think of it the way like T-shirts are made. Like you get there's a little pattern that you can get, and then you could use it on any type of shirt you want. You can use it on anything. Like it's just a little piece that you get, like a blueprint. I think they talked about blueprints when they were talking about base building, and you could just find the blueprint for it, so you always have it, because it's not that you own just a finite amount of a paint. You own the blueprint for it, and you can just get it made whenever you want.
Yeah.
Okay.
Scaling and changing decals. Yep, as well. That's the thing. Yeah.
Yep.
Rotation.
Second last comment question comes from Kyle Smith. Kyle Smith says, not a question, but a point of fact. Pipeline leaked a forthcoming Halloween skin for the Terrapin a couple of months back. So vote Gladiator. Terrapin already has a skin coming this year.
Interesting.
So there you go. That's a point. Yeah. I'm quite happy. Like we said, though, I'm happy for either of those to get it.
Go ahead.
Sorry, Lemming?
I'm going to go ahead and get on my tinfoil hat here and say it's all rigged. What is it? Like, whose line is it anyway? Everything's made up and the points don't matter?
Yeah, that's fine. It probably also points, if they've redone the Terrapin like that, it probably means we're going to one of the Terrapin variants too.
Yeah. If they've already doing skins for Terrapin, that's awesome. It means we'll probably get more.
Yeah, because it means it's been worked on at some point to get a skin. So if it's been worked on, why was it worked on? Search and rescue variant that we heard about from a few years ago.
Right. Yeah, and I'll jump back to the
well, that would be I was just gonna say that'd be a really good onboarding project, wouldn't it? In line with the Sabers. It's about the same size.
Do some skins, yep.
Yeah.
Work on the ship.
Well, not some skins, a variant.
A variant.
Yeah.
But yeah, and going back to the skins, the nice thing about scaling decals and stuff is that I can scale my decal to be this big. You could have the same decal, but it could be this big. And so even though we've got the same thing on our ships are still different.
Right.
And you obviously need different sizes of decal for different size ships. Like putting one on a snub is going to be very different to putting on a capital.
Yeah.
So,
so I really like that idea and that ability to swap them and put them on. You know, if it's unlocked, let me apply it wherever I want.
Yeah. And let me swap this seat out of this Terrapin.
Let me swap this seat out of my. Oh, that was the whole idea of the old Aurora ad. You know, I don't like this seat. Let me put this seat in. I want a bigger car. You know, so.
All All right, last question
anyway,
from
last question.
Unsavory says, if the 890 jump and the F8 made it to the final 4, do you think they would sell a 4/combo pack or only a limited refresh or something? That would be very cool if they did a 5-ship combo pack. Well, it would only be the 4 actually, but yeah, a 4-ship combo pack. But you have to buy all of them. But then you got the F8 and you got the Lightning. Yeah, I profitable.
Yeah,
That's how I'd do it.
God help us if the 890, the F8.
Well, you could put LTI on it too, because it's the first time they've ever made a pack.
Yeah, that would be one way of doing it, you know.
And they would sell a shit ton if it had an LTI on it. That's a shit ton.
And because LTI has to be a war bonds sale.
But it's also over $1,000, so it would have LTI because it's in a pack. So, yeah.
Yep, that's right. So you don't need to worry about don't have to worry about you're breaking the rule because it's not the first time they've been sold. It's over $1,000. It's
Yeah. So you'd be looking at about $1,500 minimum for that though.
But if you got 4 ships,
yeah.
But, and if it's got a discount even on that,
still be one of the cheapest ways to get.
It would be the cheapest way to get an 890 with LTI.
Yeah.
As Montravi just said, 100%.
I'm trying to think of what would have to be in that for me to buy it, though. I guess most people would buy it for the 890, but
that's what he's saying.
I'm trying to think of what would I buy in it, and I don't see a 4-pack that I would want, but I think that's also because I have half those ships. So
yeah, but again, the F8 and the 890 jump are the 2 rare ones in that whole thing. Right. All the others are
limited ones.
Yeah, more readily available. So
yeah. So
right, I've realised now why I keep calling you Billing. By the way, I'm doing the Australian thing where I shorten people's names, and you have Bill, and then you have lots of N's and ings in your name. Like if you look at the letter and spelling, and my brain is just doing the Australian thing and shorting it to Billing. So I'm just going to call you Billing because I think that's your Aussie name, Billing.
I'm cool with that.
Instead of calling you Billionaire Ninja, that doesn't roll off my tongue.
It all has to do with money, so I don't care.
Yeah, Billing.
Billing.
Billion. That's
I'm good with that.
That's your rap name. Billing. Oh, Billing. I don't know. I'm just making it up as I go along. But yeah. All right. Well, thanks for joining us. Where can you people find you on the interwebs, Billing?
At Ninja's Leap on most social media things, or at Billionaire Ninjas on YouTube.
Yep. Lemming, which Discord can people find you at?
Now he's gone away.
Pretty much all of them.
Sorry. Where can we find Lemming?
On the Inforunners Discord.
Yep. And what are you doing? What are you doing there at the moment? What competition are you running?
There's a bracket competition for about another 5 hours, I think.
Yep. And what can they win, and what do they have to do?
You have to guess the bracket right, and you can win a 100i.
Bracket for what?
The full bracket for the ship showdown.
There we go. Got it out of him eventually. Yeah.
So they got to do all the brackets right. Is that correct?
Yep. Look at this. I got the other cat. That's 2 in one stream. That's the first ever.
It's whoever gets the most.
Yep.
And then if there's ties, then there's a tiebreaker.
All right. So there you go. And what do they win?
It's a 100i game pack from CIG.
And I believe it comes with the 2. It's the Chinese New Year one, so you get the dragon and there's two Chinese New Year skins on it. The one that came with 2. Yeah. So yeah.
All right. And yeah.
With that, then don't forget to.
Where are we sending Twitch to?
I'll do that in a minute, but don't forget to like, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and thank you to everyone that went the extra mile on Patreon interview. I'm going to put you down. Calm down. Yes, I do have to find someone on Twitch though.
Yep.
Sorry. Because we normally do that after the Twitch people's leave. So yes, I did do it.
That's right.
And Algared's disjointed because I did it out of order.
Yep. Oh, it's my fault that you're out of order. Right. It's not the cat's fault. It's just my fault. Yeah.
No, it's no. I said it's my. Don't noticing anyone that I know. The only person I can see that's online that I know is DG360. So I think we'll rent. Unless someone else can bring a name up.
Unless there's anyone who's doing Star Citizen.
We'll go with DG360. Give him a. He's bald like Algared. Ask him why he looks like Algared. Why has he got the same haircut as Algared? Yeah, ask him that. And
see if he knows that only the best perfect heads
yes,
were made without hair.
Yeah, ask him that too. Tell him I belong to annoy him in a minute. So I'll see you shortly. All right. Waiting for to get stuff ready. All right. Twitch, say goodbye to YouTube. YouTube, say goodbye to Twitch. Bye, Twitch. And they're gone. Yeah. I've already done the subscribe thing, so we don't have to do that. So other than that, the two voices in the void have been Lemming. Lemming, say goodbye.
Bye, everyone.
And Billionaire Ninja, or Billing.
Later, everyone.
And he's been Algared.
And he's been Execute, and we're out of here. Take care.
See you, citizens.